All right, you want to exit out and end the back? Oh, we're live. Look at that.
We are live. Hello.
Hello.
What did I name this? I named this great. It's the best.
I didn't see a name.
Oh, you didn't?
No. Well, I just got an invite. So
it is rTrey and tRay and Impossible Thematic Cosplay.
Whoa! And neither of us is cosplaying. Woohoo!
Yeah, it's impossible because of this movie list. We can't. There's no solid cosplay in there.
I'm cosplaying as a movie watcher because I'm wearing my sweatpants.
No one wants to see that.
Everyone wants to see that. I'm sexy.
Bad Trey. No, because we saw the Fall, which has like heavy Arabian and 1920s things. There's Say Anything, which is like rough or the grungy 80s.
80s teen drama / rom-com.
Well, it's 80s grungy, as opposed to Pretty in Pink, which is like 80s glamorous. Like it's like the most throwback to 50s style because she's dressed like a grandma the whole time. People in the 80s loved the 50s, but then there's Big Bang Theory, which is just nerd chic, modern. And then there's Lady Hawk, which is medieval.
Do not mock Lady Hawk.
And then there's fucking Road Warrior stuff with Fury Road,
which is also themed off of the 80s prequel. So
yeah, but it's not. They're not dressed up like 80s people. They're not like padded shoulders. It's
no, but it was a style that was invented in the 80s with Road Warrior.
Yeah,
so completely different. These are no longer sweatpants. These are hammer pants. Hammer
pants are more expensive.
Yeah, they are, and they're also a lot shinier and probably less
shinier. All right. So first, what did you think of Pretty in Pink?
Well, it was on my list, and I had seen Breakfast Club about a month before, and I was kind of working my way through those. Not bad. Did not stand up to Breakfast Club. As well as most other 80s movies I've seen.
I don't think it's really as introspective as Breakfast Club. It's more about being a girl.
Yeah. And are we talking about it in depth yet, or are we just going over the?
No, we're ready. I think we're ready.
Then I mean I'm good with that because it is definitely a girls' movie, which makes you and I both the not target audience, which is fine. I'm not saying we can't watch it, but it wasn't directed at us, and we're not meant to identify with it necessarily as much as their target audience is.
I don't know. It's pretty. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where to place some of these characters.
I know, right? So it's kind of a study of class, like social class, social structure, but set in an 80s high school. Because you have what's Molly Ringwald's character, the main character, Andy. So you have Andy and Ducky, who are in the lower social class. Like Ducky wears all his parents' 60s and 70s clothes, and Andy, Molly Ringwald's character, is very popperish. She goes to thrift stores and does what she can with the materials she has, but that's why she's wearing like 40s and 50s clothes, is that's all she can afford because her dad doesn't.
Again, why is because the 80s loved the 50s aesthetic.
Well, that's true too, but like they intentionally made her frumpy. They made her wear old people's clothes because that's all Andy's character could afford on her record store salary wage. And then enter Weekend at Bernie's guy, who has absolutely no personality in this movie.
Are you talking about her dad? Are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about a boyfriend. What?
You're talking about not Al Pacino? I'm pretty sure he's in gangster movies. That's like
I know him from movies as an adult, but the most recent movie I watched with him was Weekend at Bernie's, where he played the Eddie Haskell character. So
are we not talking about her dad? Are we talking about the weird friend? Piggy? Not Piggy. Ducky.
No. Ducky is from the lower social class. He wears the 60s and 70s attire.
But can we talk about James Spader being...
Oh, I will get to James Spader. Oh, man. Oh,
so
man.
much chest in
everything. But I do want to get through the main characters first. So James Spader's best friend.
Spader is the main character. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then we'll circle back around him as he is the most important, and we will talk about him last. Hold your horses, Ray.
Fine.
Okay. So personalityless boyfriend comes from the upper class, and not only does she like him, but he is a rich kid, and he won't like catapult her into popularity. That's not what she wants, but living a life where she can actually spend money on dates and stuff is part of a life that she wants. You know, she still wants to reach above her station, although she's not in it for the popularity. She just likes the guy. So.
I don't know. I don't. It's very movie-y as far as like the classes. Like it's not class shown in like a really thoughtful way. It's like all the people with money are mean, and all the people without money have weird clothes and are a sector.
Yeah, but that's class systems in general, and that's how much.
That's how they are in the movies. Like cliques in high school didn't quite work like that. People just grouped up, and it didn't necessarily have to do with money. It was more about like attitude and to an extent what people liked. And I
think that's gone away, but and I wasn't alive in the 80s. I won't start to speak to that, but I do believe in certain communities that is the case. Because it's a prevailing theme among Veronica Mars. It's in a bunch of 80s movies. It's The Prince and the Pauper. It's the classic tale, and it gives you underdog.
In Veronica Mars, I think it is done in a thoughtful way, but they have a lot more time for it too. There's only like 6 kids that we see in a
6 main characters and a bunch of extras. Yeah.
Yeah, well, even like the speaking lines people, there's like what you need in a movie. You can't have 20 people talk in a movie.
Right, it doesn't work out, and so they try and cram that. And of course, Veronica Mars gets the chance, and like the entire subplot to season 2 is where the mayor wants to. And I don't mean to go on a super long Veronica Mars tangent here, but the mayor's whole plot is to separate the rich community into a separate town and have his own private security force and let the poorer people tear themselves apart.
Yay, corruption.
Well, and this has nothing to do, like, they're not even saying the classes are wrong or bad. They're just saying these people come from 2 vastly different backgrounds and still come together in spite of it, in spite of the boyfriends. I should look up his name before I continue.
But James Spader does have a stupid office as a teenager with books and a huge mahogany desk.
I thought that was his dad's desk, but yeah, either way. And the point is, you're supposed to hate James Spader, but of course you and I just end up loving him because of that gorgeous hair.
Oh, because he's fantastic?
Oh, yeah. And he actually has more personality than the boyfriend. I don't remember James Spader's name either, but...
Well, that's because he's James Spader. Like, I don't even remember James Spader, and then I'm sitting there, I'm like, what's James Spader doing? I'm like, wait, is that really his name? And I was right.
Well, I will say James Spader does have an on-screen presence, which is why he made such a good Ultron, and he's so good in Blacklist, and he was even so good in The Office as just that guy. But let's see, John Cryer's Jack Walsh. Does that sound familiar? No, that
was his name.
No, that was her dad. That was Andy's dad. Andy's last name was Walsh. Blaine McDonough.
Oh yeah, that was the stupid boyfriend.
Yeah, the guy who played him isn't terrible because I've seen him in Weekend at Bernie's and he was very entertaining in that. But the character that is Blaine is so boring. I can't remember a single line he said or a single thing he did except for stand up to James Spader. That was it.
Oh, yeah, I remember, because he's all like, yeah, I don't think this record's quite for me.
Yeah, that's the only other one I remembered as soon as I said that.
Yeah, it is too
like, oh, is this record any good?
Too hip for me, which I don't think people said in the 80s.
And it was, either way, like, again, Andrew McCarthy isn't a terrible actor, the guy who played him, but it was pretty boring.
I think I think both him and James Spader could have had just like one more dimension where James Spader like, what do you mean? She's like, they mentioned she's a redhead because it's the best part about her. No, but he's like, what do you mean you love her? What do you love about her? What is it exactly? Where do you guys converge?
But teenagers don't think like that. That would have been unrealistic for high schoolers to say, "What do you love
I
about?"
don't think it
Well,
was
not James Spader.
unrealistic.
What?
Just because there are so many, there were a lot of girls that were just, you could just say because she's different or something. But
That's a good point. You make a great point. I concede that point.
right. Or they could just stuck with redhead. Like, she's the only redhead in the school. I think I can bear her.
I think you have a type, Ray. So what else?
Probably some red hair.
So we also have Iona, the record shop owner, who wears.
Oh, wait, is she the secretary from Ghostbusters?
Yes. I
Is
think
she
so.
just
Let me double
typecasted to be our character? Because I love her. She's so great.
It really is. Oh, I love that annoying voice. It's not like Fran Drescher where I'm annoyed by that intentionally annoying voice. I do love her annoying voice. It's fantastic.
And the shop that they work at, like, it's so weird seeing theft in the 80s because in a High Fidelity and in this one, there's people trying to steal from the record shop and they have to swat them away and they have to like threaten them and stuff.
Wait, what do you mean it's weird to see theft?
Weird to see theft because now theft looks really boring because theft is people trying to buy gift cards or $400 worth of gift cards. And we're like, no, we can't use this credit card. And they're like, oh, I guess I'll go get some cash from the card. I'll tell you cash
People
to buy
got
these gift cards.
cleverer about how they try to defraud companies. Is that what you're saying? People have gotten better at this? and you don't see people just running in and trying to 5-finger discount everything?
Once in a while. A lady ran out with a whiteboard once.
People can't steal from my place. I work in an office now.
Right? Well, people do steal from your place, let me tell you.
Yeah, but they don't steal like my stapler or my computer.
And you know who's stealing? Whoever's the happiest employee. The happiest employee is always stealing from you.
Got it.
Are you the happiest employee?
I might be.
Are you stealing?
I might be.
Well,
I'm not going to admit it live.
Let me get my stapler gun.
All right. So what else? What else do you want to say about Pretty in Pink? What else?
What do you think about Ducky and the creepy friend thing?
So I love John Cryer exclusively because of Hot Shots. Hot Shots is one of my favorite movies ever when he plays Washout, the guy with walleye vision. Oh, we have to watch. We have to review Hot Shots sometime. I love that movie, and he's a very funny guy. And I enjoyed the first 2 seasons of 2.5 Men that I actually cared to watch, and then stopped for.
I was wondering, is that the guy from 2.5 Men?
Yeah, it is. Same guy.
He used to be able to act and have energy. That's funny.
Well, I mean, that many years of doing the exact same jokes on the exact same show to the exact same studio audience would burn me out too. It's the same thing that happened to Joss Whedon. Oh, hey, we got to do Avengers movies. Oh, we have to do a second one. I'm dying inside.
Oh, everyone hates the pairing. I thought a Hulk and Black Widow would be cool. Apparently not. Well, I'm sorry.
I don't think I've ever heard him say he's sorry. He's just like, yeah, I'm kind of done.
Right? It's okay. It's okay. He's gonna go.
It's okay.
Disney's gonna let him do whatever the hell he wants, and I'll watch it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, not everything he's done is great, but we're not talking about him. So John Cryer, Ducky has the creepy best friend thing going on, and it's pretty obvious he's got it bad for Andy. But I mean, yeah. What do you think? What's your take on Ducky?
I don't know. It is like, well, it's good that they didn't end up together in the end. That would have been the worst.
I'll come back to that.
As I almost feel like her being single and would have been the best, but oh well, that's awkward season 2 spoilers, but
Pretty in Pink 2, Electric Boogaloo.
That would be great. Spring Break, Electric Boogaloo.
Oh man. So
Al Pacino could be her RA, who's old and sad, and she has to get motivated to get a job.
except that was back when Al Pacino actually looked hot.
Oh yeah, well he looks better now. He'd be much better for the role now.
Oh yes, he looks better for the role now. He looked better in his Godfather Serpico years.
Man, that's it. They should have just combined Blaine with Al Pacino, and that would be a good character. Like they're rich because they're the mob. He wants to talk to a girl that doesn't have money because all his money is dirty.
Okay. So here's the thing. You said you are glad Ducky and Andy did not get together.
Yeah, because it was really creepy. You don't want, like, if I was making a movie, I wouldn't send the message that being nice to someone so that they could eventually go out with you, or riding your bike around their house 10 times, or calling them every 4 minutes is the best way to get someone's attention, and is the best way to make romance happen. Like,
so the entire internet that I've read disagrees with you.
That internet is wrong and scary, and why I don't like it so much.
No, but I mean, okay, here's the thing that I saw. So I was halfway into this thing, and I agree with you. Ducky is creepy, and I'll come back to that. That Andy, I don't think Andy chose wrong. I do not think she should end up with Ducky, and I thought I would end up disagreeing with you on that. I'm glad we agree. So the thing about it is, there's one scene in particular, one shot that sticks in my mind more than any. During the montage, Ducky is sitting outside on a trash can, head on his elbows in the rain, head on his arms in the rain. Ducky is sad and alone because Andy is not with him and going out with this other guy. That shot shows me that the director or cinematographer in some way wants me to root for Ducky. But then I looked back and I remember what you remembered. And I said, no, Ducky's creepy. Like, everybody says she chose the rich kid. She chose the popular kid. She chose the more handsome kid. And everybody on the internet says Ducky knew her better. He was her best friend. He actually knew her for her personality and still wanted her, but he stalked her. The sad fact is he was a stalker. He wouldn't talk to her. Well, he would call her every 4 minutes until she wouldn't pick up. Then she'd go talk to her dad. Then she'd go talk to the record shop owner. He would stalk her everywhere. Also, everybody says she should have picked him. What about what Andy wants? Why should she just go with the guy who knows her best? What if she doesn't want to be with him? Because he's creepy.
Which is why being single at the end of the movie would also be a fine alternative. And as far as I'm concerned, having a relationship in high school and then a movie is as good as being single, because you got to put that ring in the finger.
So, I mean, yeah. So,
I just caveat to all high school movies, all relationship movies that end in high school, like, but you're in high school, so it doesn't matter.
Most of those don't end well, no. So, I mean, anything else you want to talk about from this movie? We have we have to talk about James Spader now.
Oh, James Spader.
James Spader time. Oh, what a handsome individual.
It's Spader o'clock. Everyone get your chest out. Carry around a drunk girl.
What a sexy, sexy man. Hang on, I want to put this up for the audience. For the audience. I'm going to look up a picture. Because anybody watching who hasn't seen this movie, you are missing out. Oh my goodness, check out this smolder.
Let's race, because I have it queued up on Amazon. Ah, you're too loud. You're too loud, television. I rented it off Amazon. Oh, you got it?
I got one. It's not.
Oh, there he is. That's him.
Oh, look at that.
Look at that babe.
Oh.
Oh, you look like a babe. Do you have one with his chest in it?
One with his chest in it?
Yeah. Like there was 6 scenes where he has like an open-chested shirt.
Yeah, you find that. I don't want that in my internet browsing history.
Okay, I'm on the movie now. It will probably come up on the rating scene I love. Oh god, the rating scene. Not rating, but the music scene I love. Oh, she's about to yell at the dude. I don't think you can see James Spader's chest in this one, though.
Are you sharing your screen? I can't see.
Oh, no. I'm. This is on my...
We'll skip to the party.
on my PS4.
Skip to the party. He's shirtless at that entire party.
Oh, that's back a while. I just saved it on the music queue in case I had to play it for you. Back to the date. It's like halfway through the movie. This is great podcasting. Video casting. The director is off. Oh, yes, it's the party. I am so lucky. Okay.
All right, share it. No, Ray, you can share. Don't point your camera at it. You can share.
No, it's on my television. It's not on my computer.
Such high resolution. This is wonderful.
We have to be mean. We have to be mean to the girl. We have to be mean to the girl. Oh, this way, this way.
Is this really happening?
This is really happening. Okay, we're walking. We're lost. We're lost. We have no sound. We have no sound.
You don't need sound to see James Spader's chest.
No, we don't need sound, especially for the copy infringement. We're going. We're walking. We're in pink. We're disgusted by all the people. This is such a bad date.
Hey, pantsless.
This is such a bad date.
It really was. I don't know why he took her to a rich party.
Terrible.
I really don't know what he was thinking.
I was thinking redhead. I'm going to show you my friends. They're going to love you. And I could say this off of no proof and no one also taking...
If you had a chance to go out with 80s Molly Ringwald, would you really waste that chance on a high school party?
I would never waste that chance. I'd go out with Molly Ringwald now. I think she has kids. That's like skipping like 4 life steps. That's just... That's skipping diapers.
No, let's check.
Come on, I don't want to fast forward. Get done talking. We get it. She doesn't like it.
You know, you can fast forward, right? We have the technology.
Man. It's like, give me the scene. That's right, load it. Load that scene. You load Amazon. Well, that's a good... I remember the pretzels. She likes pretzels, and that's why we need to be together. She looks like wallpaper, and that's why we need to be together.
Yeah, she's got 3 kids.
Nice.
Here we go.
There we go. There's James Spader. Oh, yes.
Hey, James.
Solid shot.
Hey, wasn't that James Spader downstairs? Did he teleport up here?
I don't think so. No, I froze on the wrong one. Okay, there's enough. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's... Okay, you talk while I reset my camera.
Okay. So, I mean, like I said, my main point with that movie was, like, the whole internet said that she chose the wrong guy and that Ducky was really the guy for her because he knows her. But, like, there's absolutely nothing in that movie that convinced me that she should be together with Ducky. Now, I'm also not convinced that Ducky got together with that girl at the party at the end because that was...
She was too cute. Not redhead. You need a redhead to definitely replace your friend.
And she was looking straight at Ducky, and it's like, hey, Ducky has a happy ending. Look, see, Ducky's not sad and alone anymore, like I've shown you every other scene he's in.
Maybe if there's like a cutaway of someone stalking him the same way, and they could just be.
And then it turns into a horror for the sequel.
They both fall in love with James Spader.
All right, so
we should stalk James Spader.
So, final thoughts on Pretty in Pink. James Spader is awesome. Molly Ringwald does average. Ducky is creepy, but John Cryer's funny.
I think it was good for its time. It's like not like I'm looking at it through like 2015.
Sure.
The sensibilities that we have, where like he's creepy and stalkery, and she should. But I think it was good. I like it a lot better when a girl in a romantic movie wants to be with someone instead of like the girl who's stuck up and like kind of like the Taming of the Shrew kind of ways where the girl just wants to focus on school and she doesn't want to be part of no man, and she's so annoyed by relationships, and she changes and gets changed by a man. Like this is a girl that wants to be in a relationship, and I like that a lot better.
Oh. Okay, so, well, the fact that it doesn't hold up through all the ages tells me that it's a decent movie, but it can never be a great movie. Because
I think it's already a great movie. I think the ship has sailed on it. It's a good movie.
If the ship has sailed, then in my opinion, it's not a great movie. A ship
No, the ship has sailed. That it is already called a great. It's already a classic.
Oh, I see what you mean. That's
what I mean.
I'm just saying, because it doesn't hold up as well, because it's an 80s chick flick that doesn't translate well to nowadays, and because the relationship is...
I kind of think it does. I don't know. I think there's a lot of really... I misspelled pretty in my notes. I'm the worst. No, but an I doesn't go there. No. I think it kind of does hold up because girls still watch it and be like, "Oh, the pretty boys," and
so you think
what's up with her grandma clothes? But
so you think that this class system still does exist in high school? That personality-less.
Okay, the class system doesn't. That's an older trope that is very simplified for television. Like,
I'm not saying classism is not still around or is still around. I won't speak to that. I don't know the world well enough to comment on that. But I do think that it doesn't apply to you. It does not apply to me, and it does not apply to really anyone else I spoke to.
Well,
a lot of people about it.
It applies in that is how it feels to some people.
Sure.
And I feel like it's hard for some movie writers and movie stuff and writers in general just to like step out of that, because a lot of writers, not all writers are doctors and football players, but like they can feel like the people they didn't like in high school or that they didn't like in high school were just stuck up rich people, and that's how they saw them. Like,
I mean, I assume popular kids and unpopular kids and that class system still exist, but I have no idea. I was homeschooled.
So you were spared from everything. How was it being raised in a cult? I'm kidding. I don't know.
You want to go there?
No, I don't, because so many people do, and it's already so easy. I feel the cliche, and I don't want to. You are nice and well-adjusted and work in an office and probably steal office supplies.
Maybe steal office supplies, allegedly.
Well, you do. You just...
I don't steal office supplies. I got nothing to steal from that place. Not a bad place. They're just like, oh, hey, more printer paper.
Right? I bought... We had some that clearanced out like 4 years ago, and I bought a 5-ream box, and I'm still using it.
So speaking of awkward transitions, what's our next movie, Ray?
Well, speaking of weirdly out-of-touch 80s movies and tropes, say anything. What is the plot? I got this
for you, Ray.
Okay.
I got notes because you asked me to come up with the plot on this movie.
Well, I think on rewatching it, and because I think my real hang-up, I want to defend past me, but my real hang-up with it was my event movie thing. Like, it used to be in the mind that a movie has to be this, and there has to be a character change, and there is characters changing, but there's not. It doesn't fit to the structure of a movie, and I didn't really think that there could be more than one kind of movies. Like, I'm very closed-minded in the past, and sometimes closed-minded thoughts stay in. So, like, I feel like you're probably going to disagree and blow this out of the water right away, but I feel like Say Anything is more of a slice of life kind of movie, where they have the starting point where they introduce the characters, and then they mention the flight, and the movie's going to end on the flight, and like, who knows what can happen in 3 months? And it's just going to show the next 3 months and what can happen in 3 months, I guess.
So, Say Anything. First off, for those of you paying attention at home, this is the I was going to say John Cryer. John Cusack movie where he's on the front holding the boombox over his head in the trench coat. Say Anything. Say Anything.
Say Anything. Also a great band.
So we have our main characters. We have Lloyd and Diane, and it becomes a romance story between the two of them. And we'll talk about the rest later. So now you're filled in. It's a romance movie with John Cusack. He stands in the rain at one point, because he always does. Actually, he might not in this movie. That might have been the one thing that stands out.
Did you take notes? I thought you were going to count how many times he was in the rain.
No, I did not count. I was taking notes on the plot. You didn't ask me how many times he stood out in the rain.
That was like a joke. I think it was High Fidelity. He's in the rain several times.
No, it's because, yeah, we were talking about how, like, every movie John Cryer is in, he's like actually obligated to be in the rain.
Cusack.
What did I say?
Cryer.
Cusack.
Who is John Cryer? I thought you were thinking of Farscape, but that's John Crichton.
John Cryer is Ducky. We were just talking about him.
Oh, too many Johns.
I know.
Too many Johns.
Probably not their actual name, too. So, okay. So we have Lloyd, who's John Cusack. We have
his sister, which is his sister, Joan Cusack.
Yes, indeed. This is the only time I've ever seen them on screen together.
No, she was in High Fidelity. She was the girl's friend in High Fidelity. Maybe she was both their friends in High Fidelity.
I barely remember that movie.
What do we need to rewatch? I'm kidding. We don't need to rewatch it.
I prefer not. Okay.
I really like that movie.
I know you do. I don't. You're allowed to be wrong. It's cool. I'm kidding.
I am the most right.
Okay, so we have Lloyd. Lloyd is a kickboxer, and the movie takes place the summer after they graduate high school. The entire movie takes place the summer after they graduate high school. So you have Lloyd, who is sensitive. He likes kids. He hangs out with girls, no guys. We know he's thoughtful. He checked on Diane when he took her to the party, and we know he accepted Keymaster, although somewhat unwillingly.
Apparently he does it. They imply that he does it a lot, like every party.
Yes, because he's the stand-up responsible one. He doesn't love doing it, but he there's a little more to him than the average bear. At least.
Are you the gatekeeper?
I thought of that every time they said that. I'm Vince Lothar. Ghostbusters references. But we also know he has no ambition whatsoever. He wants to stay kickboxing before kickboxing's actually a thing. He wants to
I like it when he explains what a mixed martial art is.
And like he was kind of shy at first. Like he took a picture without her knowing at graduation. That was kind of weird.
Didn't he like photobomb her? He tries to approach her then.
But he asked his friend, the friend who writes songs from The Haunting, he asked her to take a picture of him with her, and then all he does is stand behind her while she points at her new car. And so it's not a photobomb. He's not bombing a photo that her dad is taking of her. He's just photo sniping. He's taking a photo with her without her knowledge or consent.
Well, it's out in public, and everyone's taking pictures.
Right. I'm not saying it's creepy. Well, it is kind of creepy. So, but either way, he's not
the creepiest thing he'll do.
You know, he's kind of shy. He doesn't want to do anything about it at first. It starts off very typical, which I feel like doesn't fit with his character at the end of the movie. And I feel like he doesn't go through that drastic of a character change throughout the movie. You know what I mean?
Point one to no plot?
Hold up. Next, we have Diane. Diane is the girlfriend. She's the overachiever. She's very smart. She's very loyal. Her dad is the only reason they break up halfway through the movie. She's very forward-thinking. Lloyd is caught in the here and now. I have no future plans. Everybody wants future plans, but future plans change because I've moved here and there and everywhere. Whereas Diane has always been thinking about college. The party was the first time she even met any of her high school friends or any other high schoolers because she was so busy taking advanced college courses and applying for scholarships, and she's always been thinking to the future with her dad's help. And her dad is her best and only friend at the beginning of the movie.
Which it does, like, if you look at the signs of an abusive relationship, like, only having one person that you talk to and, like, not having other friends is, like, a huge sign.
Okay, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's happening.
Huge sign. But it's pretty clear, I feel like.
Yeah, but everybody who has one friend, she could just be introverted. It doesn't mean she's abused. He treats her pretty well.
Yeah, but he because she depends on him. Because she depends on him. You can go on.
Okay. And finally, the third notable character I wanted to talk about, there's a few side characters in here, and I kind of come to them. But Diane's dad, also the dad from Frasier, interestingly enough, I wanted to talk about him because he... Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
This is why you keep me around.
Right? And you only watch Frasier because of me.
That's not true. I watched Frasier all the time before you.
But you thought it was pretentious.
I did think it was pretentious, and then I rewatched it. It was better the second time.
Yeah.
I was pretty young when it first came around, so Diane's dad, his daughter is everything to him because his wife walked out on him, and his daughter chose him, and he takes that to heart, and he really loves that. So he wants to dote on her. He wants to do everything he can to keep her around. He no longer believes in love because he got divorced and because everything. And he fears that loss a lot, and that's a lot of what drives him in the movie. But we also know he's a kind man. You know, he still runs the old folks' home, and he takes good care of the people that are there. But, of course, bad things are afoot when he's stealing from these old people and not notifying the families when they pass away. So... You asked me about
I thought there was some kind of, like, more serious crime going on. Because the police very gung-ho about this whole thing.
No, he was the whole reason he was in jail is because he was taking the money, the estate money, from the old people and putting it into his own pocket. That's why he had all that cash in the cash box. The families weren't being notified that there was anything left, and his justification was, well, these families don't even come to visit them. I'm the only one who actually cares for them, so I'm the one who deserves this money. We can put it into the home. We can keep it open when we're not turning a profit. I can give it to my daughter. I can give her nice things. And, you know, and he viewed that as genuinely right. So let me see.
You were, like, eating the bottom of your camera. I think I should... Yeah, I did. I guess I'll talk while you prepare. While you prepare your plot notes.
Please.
So, like, it's really interesting that both female kind of movies, like, there's no mother in the picture, but, like, the girl and the dad are two major ones. Mm-hmm. And it's...
Well, I mean...
Creepy? Well, it's not creepy. It's just all of her friends are, like, his friends that he invites over, and they're it reminded me of, like, very, like, a stately kind of thing.
Well, I mean, when a mother raises a daughter by herself, we get Carrie, so.
I don't think... I think we need more than one point of reference for...
No.
Oh, man. Now I'm just going to think about that.
The dad
what would anything be like if it was Carrie?
The reason the dad and daughter dynamic works is because, first off, it's not seen in the real world a whole lot, let's face it, just statistically speaking. It's just not around. And it allows for that dynamic where the dad thinks he's doing good things for his daughter, but he's never been a teenage girl or a young girl, so he has no actual idea. So you can have that conflict and resolution of, I'm just doing what's best for you. You don't know what's best for me. Fighting and making up later. So it creates that natural dynamic that these two don't fully understand each other, but they both really want to try because they're all, that's everything to each other. And when it's a daughter, the daughter can remind the dad of his wife who may have passed away or may have just run off. But either way, you know, that husband, father loved their wife at one point. They wouldn't have gotten married and had a kid otherwise, typically. comedy. And so you have that dynamic of, oh, I love you so much. You remind me so much of your mother. Or you remind me so much of your mother, and that makes me sad because she's gone, a la Pretty in Pink.
Man, I'm glad I decided these two back to back. That's
We have a theme almost.
Oh,
all right. Are you ready for the plot?
Yeah. Men interacting with girls. That's our theme. That's our damn Lady Hawk.
That sounds so creepy. Lady Hawk.
Lady Hawk messes it all up.
And I'm the one who suggested it. I spit on your theme. All right, are you ready for plot?
Yes.
All right, what do you think is
lay the plot on me?
What do you think is the plot?
Oh, again, I don't think it's as much a plot. Like, I see it as a slice of life movie.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So here's what I view it as. It is the last chapter in a coming-of-age story. Like any story that follows one character throughout early life or high school, where at the end of the movie they finally come through it and they've kind of grown up and they've kind of gone through their struggles and their trials and they're finally through it. This is the last chapter of that because it's all that condensed into about 3 months. So you have both characters, and what's the plot to any romantic comedy? It's two people come together in a relationship where the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, right? I mean, that's the whole point. That's why you want to see them get together in any romantic comedy. What does that mean?
They have the camera on you, so I'm just distracting you now.
So now the thing is, this movie has lots of subplots, and I can see where you'd get like distracted from the main plot of the movie. Is there's a ton of subplots because you have Diane's backstory. Where did she come from? Why is her mom gone? What has she been doing in high school so long that she knows none of these people at this party? You have the IRS and her dad, and you think that they're just looking into this kind man who runs a what do you call it? You know what I mean? An old folk. A what?
No, it's Peter Petrelli. That's wrong. That's not right. That's
Peter Petrelli from Heroes?
Yeah, he did like the same thing. That was his job in episode 1, and then he went to be a nomad with powers.
I stopped watching that show. Like,
it was the first episode of the first.
Yeah, and I forgot it because the other seasons were so bad.
Hospice is what it's called.
There you go. Except it's not hospice because this is a retirement home. Hospice is specifically medical care for terminally ill people to just make them more comfortable for when they die. So you have Lloyd's brother-in-law who left his sister and their son to just run off. So you have that subplot going on in his sister's whole story and his nephew's whole story. You have Lloyd's friend who plays the guitar. There's her breakup / backstory where she's talking about the guy who she wrote like 18 songs about. And
wasn't it like 800?
Something like that. I don't know.
Ridiculous. It was 18. That would not have fit in this movie. 800. You got to over the top it.
And then of course you have the turn, the typical, because there has to be conflict in a movie, otherwise it's not worth watching. So you have Lloyd and Diane's breakup, which is largely pushed forward by Diane's dad, who doesn't believe in love and doesn't want to see her throw a life away with this degenerate who does nothing with his life and makes no money. You have Lloyd's parents, who his dad's in the army, and so he's moving everywhere, and you have no idea where they are, and that's kind of Lloyd's story, is he doesn't like them moving around so much. And then you have the whole trip to London that's always looming on the horizon because Diane got the full ride scholarship to Oxford or whatever it was. So that's, you have a lot of subplots in there to distract you from the main story, which isn't bad because the main story is boy and girl get together, boy and girl break up because of external reasons, boy and girl realize they're right for each other and get back together. It doesn't make a fantastic movie on its own.
Well, they get back together, and then there's like a weird meandering 20 minutes, and then the movie ends.
Well, so how do you feel about that, the meandering 20 minutes?
Well, at first it pissed me off, and then that feeling held for a very long time, and I am now more calm with it, because I think I'm a calmer person now.
Why did it bug you? What made you mad about
Well,
it?
because like I watched it, I'm like, what was the plot of that? What did I just see? Where it just ends on a plane. I don't.
So
What it made me lose track of the conflict, and it made me lose track of like the characters, and I felt like I probably felt like he should have had like some kind of thing where he finds what he wants to do, but that
kind of goes against his. I mean, he does find what he wants to do. He wants to be with Denise, no matter what that means.
doesn't count.
It counts. Why does that not count?
That didn't count for me.
Being with Denise is taking him from America to London. The last thing he wants to do is continue traveling because of his parents. He's always traveled. His dad's an army man. So he's always been traveling. But because Diane is traveling and he wants to be with Diane, he is overcoming that to finally have some sort of goal. I know it's not a life goal. He hasn't made a career choice. He hasn't bought a house or a dog or anything. It's not a complete.
Be a stay-at-home dad who kickboxes people.
But his wife is a super genius doctor, so that works.
Yeah. That's
So
my life. I want to be that.
let's talk about the ending briefly, shall we? Because most movies like this would end with, like, it probably wouldn't even end with them getting on a plane. It would end with them kissing in front of a sunset or something.
Right? It would end with them getting back together because of something demanded. But it's all the girl. Like,
so referring to the ending, for viewers out there in YouTube land, what do we have, like 2 viewers maybe?
don't be crass. I can look this up. Do you really want to know right now?
Is it 0?
It's super weird. No, it's not 0, but it's just weird to try to.
Okay.
We have 19 on the last video.
Oh, fun. So for those of you out there in YouTube land or whatever, the ending has our 2 characters sitting on the plane headed for London. And Diane is scared out of her wits because she doesn't like plane rides. And Lloyd is holding her hand. And, you know, he's talking about, okay, we have all these comic books, we have magazines, we have books, we have music, things to help us. What?
Yeah. He's being supportive of her fear.
Being supportive. And then he said it's okay because all accidents happen within the first 5 minutes of the plane ride. So as soon as that light turns off, everything's going to be okay. So they're staring at the cigarette sign, the non-cigarette sign that you may now move freely about the cabin, seatbelt sign. It's the seatbelt sign.
Right.
And they're staring at this, and he says, any second now, and then the screen blacks out as it goes ding. Now, again, most movies that have a romance in them end with the 2 characters kissing, camera zooms out. Like we watched Better Off Dead.
Oh, Better Off Dead.
We watched Better Off Dead, and the last shot in that movie is his French girlfriend finally gets to see Dodger Stadium while they're sitting on top of his remade car. He has a saxophone in his hand. They're making out. Camera zooms out, zooms way out of the stadium. Movie ends, right?
Wow, I did not pay attention at all at the end of that movie.
It's one of my new favorite
Apparently I didn't pay attention at all. I don't remember any of that.
I've watched it 3 times now. But that's my point. Or, think of Princess Bride. Princess Bride ends with them sitting on the white horse, kissing, true love, and then we cut back to the grandpa and the child.
Right.
And so, but either way, most happy stories end on that note. As you wish, camera fades. The fact that this one didn't made me think that there was something special about it. Something the director and cinematographer were trying to tell us very subtly. And I thought about that for a while. That was probably the part of the movie that stuck most with me. The scene where he actually holds the boombox over his head, I blink and it's gone. It doesn't actually get them back together. I don't know why that's the most iconic scene in the movie.
Right, and that is also what pissed me off at first when I first saw the movie.
Because, I saw commercials for this movie. I read reviews of this movie. I thought the boombox scene was when they get back together. And it isn't.
Yeah, and it means nothing. And it contributes to so much anger, my original anger about it.
It contributes to the fact that he hasn't given up on their relationship, but they only get back together once he has given up and then reignites. Once he actually stops. And anyway, so rant about that over. So
which is a lesson. If you're trying to get a girl back, stop.
Move on with your life. Grow up. So we have the scene on the plane, and I thought about this scene for a while. So the key line that stuck out to me is the one I already said. The worst part of everything happens. Stop distracting me. It happens in the first 5 minutes of the flight. So as soon as the sign goes off, you know everything is going to be okay. And so you have them sitting there wondering if everything is actually going to be okay. And then the very last sound we hear before the credits roll is the sign dinging. So that tells me
the screech of engines blowing up.
No. So that tells me that they are going to be okay, but that's kind of analogous to what the movie had, what the whole movie was, at least for them. Because the whole point of the movie was they weren't sure if this was going to work out. They were just kind of together. He had never even talked to her before. He just kind of liked her from a distance. And she had never had a boyfriend or even a friend.
I think they did talk to each other. They were... I'm pretty sure they did. Like, he mentions that they met each other, not just like they saw her. But he does say that was very brief.
I thought she said that he hadn't met her and that the phone call was the first time they'd ever actually spoken. But he knows her name.
But still much better than stalking a girl right away.
Better than Ducky. We can agree on that.
Better than Ducky. That's a shirt. Better than Ducky. Done.
So
better than Ducky. Better than Ducky.
Okay. Having fun there?
Always.
So we have this final scene, and again, this is the scene that stuck with me probably most in the movie. And I'd say this is a pretty great movie overall. But so this, and it stuck with me because like the whole movie, they're together and they're not sure where it's going to go. She's still got London looming on the horizon. He's got nothing, and nobody. I mean, you know, her dad doesn't want them to be together, so they're just staying together, trying to block out the external influences, seeing if it'll work. And in the end, it does. In the end, they do work out, but they had to wait through it, and they had to get through the worst part of it in order to know that they were going to make it, and they do. So ding, sign goes off, and they're together.
The worst part will be boredom in London as he waits 6 months for his work visa to be approved.
But he's okay with that because he'll just hang around record shops and go to pubs.
Yeah. Say Anything too is all about them being in London and him waiting for refugee status. It's very political.
Let's not do that.
Oh,
okay.
Man.
So, what did you think of this movie? That's like my whole rant. That's everything I had to say about Say Anything.
Okay, I do like it much better the second time, and I like it better now that I'm not of the mindset that a movie has to have like a set plot and a set beat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, like, now I really appreciate more what the movie does than when I first remembered it and then when I first saw it. God, it was like, what, 6 years ago? 7 years ago? It was near the end of college. And I actually really, really liked it the second time I watched it. Like, it still had funny parts, and it still had those quirky side characters. And
it did, and it honestly kept my attention throughout the whole thing. Like, I've been going through that list of 80s movies. Some of them bore me. Some of them are really stupid. I just haven't liked a good number of them. But Say Anything...
Is that a Bethany cough?
No, that's my roommate.
Oh, okay.
No, okay. They're doing stuff back there. Don't worry about them. They don't exist.
Okay.
So we have this, you know, Say Anything, and it genuinely kept my attention. I genuinely cared, which is not something I say. I won't say I hate all romantic comedies. There are a few that I genuinely.
Oh no. Script Notes is a podcast about screenwriting, and one of the things that they talk about is if you say you don't like romantic comedies, you're wrong. Because we watch an action movie and then there's the B story about the romance happening, and you want that to be informed, but you also want good like action. Well, all you really wanted the whole time was that romance to happen, and romantic comedies are just acknowledging that is the actual nougat center to the chocolate of action movies.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with all that, but I definitely think
because you're a terrible person.
Well, I will say though that like I hate The Notebook. I've never liked The Notebook. I did not like Titanic.
Well, there's no nougat center to Notebook or Titanic. They're they're just shallow wafers of movies.
Everybody disagrees with me about Titanic.
I do not. You are right. It's
Thank
shallow wafer.
Thank
They made characters.
Did not enjoy that movie.
Though, in its favor, redhead.
Okay, but hey, how about if I can go off on a tiny tangent here?
Is it about redheads?
Yes, actually, not redheads.
No, you can't go on a tangent.
So Jurassic World, right? People complain that the romance in that movie didn't make sense. I don't care. I saw an awesome movie where Chris Pratt fought dinosaurs.
That's called a B movie, and it can be an awesome B movie, and there's no shame in that.
I love B movies the best.
It's a B movie.
It starts with B.
Also, I haven't seen it, and you have a point with redheads.
You should see it.
I should see it. I haven't.
So, what else? So, any final thoughts on Say Anything? Did you want to talk about her dad? I really liked her dad in the movie.
Like, I did. Well, you don't. The dad always does seem kind of creepy for me.
Really?
Just because, I don't know. Maybe girls' dads. Maybe it's just being a boy and like having to meet girls' dads. Like, I do hate that.
Maybe it's because I actually like my father-in-law. I don't know. My father-in-law's a pretty cool dude.
Like, I don't think I've even done it since high school. That's not true. I did do it in college. I met a girl's dad in college. He was cool. He was cool. We broke up. I miss him. He was in a band. No. Okay, but Say Anything.
All the inside's coming out here.
Say Anything. I did at first thought it was a bigger deal, which I guess it makes sense that it's not. That maybe police are more all about money than anything else. But but no, like I do like how they kind of layer in. Like at first I thought it was like all of a sudden because I didn't pay attention. I didn't catch the constant police little bits. It just felt like weird like police side bits. But the major conflict of the movie is between the father and the daughter.
Yes. And
kind of how to control their life at this point. Like, it's really, how hard is being a parent? I'm like, you get them to stay in school, you get them to study, and then want to have other dreams.
Says somebody who's not a parent.
And someone who doesn't have kids.
Yeah.
And then you just let them go off, and then you're done. You can relax. I want my parents to relax.
I'm glad you could admit that. I'm glad you could admit this.
Just be disappointed. You're fine. We can't do much more than this. We're disappointed in you.
Little
the
more
is mutual. Time to move on.
Little more of the insides coming out. What's our next movie? Say Anything is a good movie. I think it holds up, and I think that makes it. I still don't think it's a great movie on my list, but I can qualify it as a great movie in general for people who like that kind of movie, people who collect 80s movies, people who. Well, it's not going to break my top 20, but I can see why it's a great movie, and I would agree.
People who like soggy John Cusack. Like, yeah.
Which means John Cusack, because John Cusack
this movie.
John Cusack loves soggy John Cusack.
John Cusack loves playing guitar with claymation mashed potatoes, hamburgers.
I love that movie. Everybody wants some. I want some too.
What? Nice. Oh, sorry.
So, any final thoughts on Say Anything, or moving on?
They kind of blend into yours. I think I can see exactly. Like, I own it already, so it's hard. Well, it's because the movie it's attached to. I love it.
Right. You love Sunshine State.
Garden State. Yeah.
Garden State.
Loved Garden State. I should say maybe. I don't know. I feel like it is a movie that's fallen out. We'll talk about Garden State some other time. But no, it's a great movie. I see why people love it. I appreciate it a lot more. Yeah. Especially after watching some other movies, romantic comedies that we've seen. I think it's exaggerated in several goofy 80 ways, but then I think it's actually really sophisticated in some others, like especially how they attack money. Like, I think the way they thought about money in Say Anything is a little better than the way they thought about money in I said the word better. You
Pretty
can yell at me. You can hit me over the head.
You've already accepted my way of viewing. I don't need to hit you anymore.
Okay, good. How was that last?
Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in Pink tackled the kind of like gap there. It's much better. Instead of it being like the movies thing that's enforcing on you, you can see it's like the characters thing.
Yeah.
Like John Cusack's friends, when he's talking about asking out the girl, they're like, I guess you could ask her out, but she's like a brain and has like money. You kind of can. She looked all fancy and she's going to college and you're not. So what could you do? And it's the way that it's the lens that her dad uses. But that's not the narrative that the main character has. It's not the narrative that the camera has. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't force it on you. Mm-hmm. So I think it's sophisticated in that kind of way, even though several ways it is not. Do you have a gag that you loved in this movie? Because I loved taking the guy home after the party.
That was good.
We drive around for 2 hours, and they're like, "This is where I live," and John Cusack steps on the brake. Get
oh,
get out of here!
What was it? I don't have a specific gag. This movie was not unfunny, but I don't qualify it as a funny movie. This was a romantic movie with a few funny parts. A particular gag. I like when she punches him in the face and he gets a bloody nose, or she distracts him at the gym and he gets a bloody nose because of it. That was funny.
Oh man, anime. Yeah, that's what I feel like. This movie is like a slice of life kind of thing, like that took off a lot more in Japan than here, unfortunately. Like I wouldn't mind seeing more slice of life kind of movies.
I just meant because he's like kickboxing in the ring. Hey, visitor for you. He looks away, clocked right in the nose. Love it.
Yes. Oh.
Women will distract you.
John Cusack. Is he in a newer movie at all?
A what?
Was John Cusack in any new movies? I know there's Hot Tub Time Machine.
He was in that?
Yeah, he was in at least the first one. He might be in the second. I don't know.
I'm looking.
Oh.
Say anything as the first one comes up.
Well, of course, because it's
High Fidelity is the second.
Oh, High Fidelity.
He was
not better off dead though.
He was in 1408. Recently, he's in Dragon Blade and Chirac, which is a comedy, which is a documentary by Spike Lee.
Huh. Okay.
I'm sorry, Spike Lee. Did I say Spike Lee?
You said Spike Lee.
Okay, good.
The guy who hates Tarantino.
The guy who hates everyone white, yeah.
Well, he doesn't like John Cusack, apparently. Who hates John Cusack, though?
John Cusack?
That's why he wants to see him in the rain so much. You deserve to be sad.
All right, so what do we have next?
Let's see. Let's talk about Lady Hawk.
Yay.
Because Ferris Bueller is garbage and deserves to be in the sewer.
Hold up. Hold up.
No, he starts out in the sewer, and he's a very goofy kind of framing device. Like I almost wasn't sure where this was going to go. Like
speaking of framing,
we're going to have a triangle.
Your camera's out of focus, right?
No. Ooh. Hand, face. Okay, it worked.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so Lady Hawk, I brought this up because it was on my Ready Player One list. I had no idea what to think about this movie. I saw it. What did you think, Ray?
I liked it. It was very like surprising to me. Like it wasn't quite what I expected. Like I feel like this is it's not a high budget movie, but it's definitely a period movie, which I hate period things normally because I'm terrible. Like God, medieval placed movies. What mistake have I made? But like, yeah, it was really goofy having him as the friend, but he's also like the go-between between the two. And he's very. Actually, you should give me his name. What's the
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick. Yeah, he's so hammy and goofy in it, and I thought it was going to be like a hammy, goofy movie all around because he gets the cartoon fight his way past knights. But then there's the real knight, and who's all full of bravado and revenge. I expected there be explosions at the end because I'm used to like modern Hollywood, but this feels like, I don't know if this was a high budget at the time or if it was considered high budget, but I feel like it would be like a comfortable mid-budget if they make a movie like this now, just because it has a lot of fight scenes and they're kind of poopy, but
and the fight scenes are well choreographed too. Like that's something that's kind of hard to do nowadays. They're pretty well choreographed. They don't hold up super well because a crossbow fires and then it cuts to, oh, it already hit me in the gut and I'm just holding it. It's not a prop. But
like the big climax of the movie is they ride into a chapel, and that's like kind of where the movie started anyway. And it's instead of like you have to like sneak through the tunnel and you have to siege the cannon and you have to kill a bunch of guards to get through. He rides into the place with a horse and no one can stop him because he's a badass on a horse. And I didn't hate it. Like, it's not what I was expecting, but I didn't hate it because it did have a level of emotion, even though you don't really get a good sense of their character, because as far as I know, their only characteristic is that they're in love with him and somehow both badasses, though she's slightly and weirdly oblivious at times. But like,
I think she's more carefree than oblivious. I would not describe her as oblivious.
Yeah,
that's why she's a hawk. That's why she's a hawk. Is hawks fly free? You know, hawks can't. You know, you can't tie hawks down because they can fly, and that's just her personality. That's why she's the one dancing. And wolves hunt, and obviously he's a lone wolf too. So he's not like the usual pack animal like most wolves. He's a hunter. He's always got his eyes on the prize. He's always focused on his single objective. Being the owner of a hound, I see how she does that. Like, she won't stop to be pet. She just keeps going because she has a goal in mind. And finally, when she stops, it's because she's resting. She has nothing she's going after. Her objective is rest. So, you know, I wouldn't describe her as...
So he has that one objective, but at the same time, he's lost and he's wandered around for years, transforming into a dog.
Yeah, but he's been trying to...
Until he finally gets Matthew Broderick to lead him to the thing because he's lost or something?
Well, he's not lost. He's just been trying to kill the bishop or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he's been lost up until now. You need Matthew Broderick. If I'm confused and lost in a project, I'll just call it Matthew Broderick, and he will flirt with my girlfriend, and eventually I will reach my prize.
That was weird that he was flirting with Lady Hawk or whatever her name was.
I didn't think it was weird.
Paltrow?
What?
Got a thing for Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh, always. Are you kidding? Of course.
Catwoman still got it. She's always an animal. That's weird. Anyway. I say always in 2 movies I've seen her in, and they're both
right. I was trying to think of a third movie.
The third movie I thought of, she was a witch in Stardust.
Oh.
And I think she might have transformed into an animal, but that's probably my imagination.
Was she in Harry Potter? Did she turn into it? No, I'm kidding. I
don't think so.
No, but I did like it, even though I did. It's weird because, like, I was thinking about it the other day. Like, I have an inner hate for period pieces. So I love it when they modernize, like, Shakespeare stuff, because that way I don't have to look at a bunch of stupid swords and a bunch of people walking and sending messengers.
What's wrong with that?
See, I know. There's something wrong with me.
At least you can admit it.
I'm constantly trying to change the way I think about things. But then I thought, well, but I like Sword Art Online, and that is pretty much a medieval thing. But I like it because it's in a video game. It's a video game of a period.
No, you like it because the story's amazing and it just happens to be in a video game with swords.
Yeah, I don't know. The story's amazing. Wow, we're getting some hate comments.
See, my thing is I don't care if it's a period piece. I don't care when it's set, where it's set. I care about a really good story.
Right? Like Pride and Prejudice?
I didn't love Pride and Prejudice.
You'll love it eventually. I don't know. You'll find a way.
Well, like Les Miserables is what I was thinking of. It's a weird idea, especially the movie about a play that is a musical with like 3 amelodic lines, 3 lines that are not sung. But because that story resonates with me so much, and because I love that story so much, I love Les Miserables. I don't even love every song in it, but it sticks with me. Or like Hamilton. Hamilton's weird. The play, the new Broadway play, which is fantastic, by the way. I haven't seen it, but I've listened to the soundtrack like 3 times now.
You want to go off on a tangent? I just need to use the bathroom.
Okay.
Go off on a tangent with the camera.
Okay. Hi, camera. I'm going off on a tangent now. I don't want to say anything. Hey, post and comment what you would like us to watch, because we have apparently run out of movies to watch. So I've been going through for those of you out there, one of my favorite books is Ready Player One. That's where I get a lot of these movie suggestions. And so I've gone to a Ready Player One list. If you just Google movies referenced in Ready Player One, it's a book. Actually, it's pretty similar to Sword Art Online, for those of you who've seen that, kind of the Americanized version. And I say Americanized like we took Sword Art Online and changed it. That's not at all the case. It's just more Western. What else? I have a few text messages. You guys want to see me read those? I'm not going to read those aloud to you. That'd be weird. So we've been, like I said, we've been going through this Ready Player One list, and now Ray's distracting me again. So this Ready Player One list, and that's where we got Lady Hawk. That's where I got Better Off Dead, Say Anything. That's where I've gotten a lot of these movies. And Ray's back. Hi, Ray.
You didn't enjoy all my pratfalls?
I did, but I kind of wish the rest of the people could have seen them.
I know, but it's off. You can't see my embarrassing body.
All right, so I was just saying how I was going through the Ready Player One list, and that's where we got a lot of these movie ideas. And if they want to follow along at home, that's kind of where we're heading. And I also asked them to post and comment if they would like us to watch and review a specific movie.
Yeah, because my make Trey do things is running out of steam.
All right, so what's next on? So Lady Hawk.
Lady Hawk.
I like Lady Hawk because it's very poetic. You have the fun sword fights. You have goofy Matthew Broderick, but the whole poetic, romantic thing about how they can't be together except at dawn because she's a hawk at night. She's a hawk during the day. He's a wolf at night. And I liked that. I liked that dynamic. The weirdest part to me was how there were curses in a medieval universe where God is still worshipped. Like God, the Judeo-Christian God is the only God.
I feel like this was taken from a folklore thing. Like that is how they viewed the world. Like
that's probably true.
Everything's very mystical, and there's still like the mystic old world that they're aware of their like pagan roots, but at the same time, it's kind of like the new pagan of Christianity.
Sure. Well, I don't think Christianity's anyway.
Oh no, Christianity isn't pagan, but I feel like the way that it's done in the Middle Ages was.
I see what you mean. But here's the weird thing. The curse was put on them by Catholic priests.
Yeah.
That was the thing that was weird to me.
And her father, who was a Catholic priest or something, right?
It wasn't her father, but he was a father figure to her. The priest who hides them in the castle where they have to step over that one, and it's all.
Oh, he put the curse on them.
Yeah, that's why he's helping them. It's because he feels guilty.
Oh.
He did it under orders of the cardinal or whatever, but.
Yeah, I didn't understand. Well, I thought a cardinal was a priest, but also I didn't understand why he got his own castle. But I was pretty chill with it. I'm like,
so it actually wasn't a cardinal. I just recently watched the Three Musketeers, and so cardinal is in my brain.
I was getting confused with the character from Quasimodo, from Notre Dame. I feel like, is he a cardinal, or
no, he's just a priest, isn't he?
Yeah, but I feel like
priest.
I thought priests were cardinals. Like there's bishop and there's cardinal. I don't know.
I don't know if bishop and cardinal fall together, but I do know that priest is just over a church. Bishop and cardinal are both higher than that, and I believe it goes. I'm almost positive it goes like priest, bishop, archbishop, cardinal. But I don't know if cardinal's even a thing anymore.
I assume it is. I don't think they got rid of anything.
Neither do I, but the popes have been changing things for years. I'm not Catholic. The cardinals choose the pope. There you go.
That cardinal still existed.
Well, you're right. So, but I mean, the Catholic Church has changed several times over the past years. But either way, I know a priest is just over a church. And there could be, depending on the size of the church, sometimes they'll have one or two priests, but it's usually just one. So anyway, so there you go. And so we have I think it was just a bishop in Lady Hawk.
Hmm.
And either way, he played the place of the cardinal from the Three Musketeers, where he's supposed to be this religious head and he's supposed to be celibate, but he loves this lady, and so he makes anybody who wants to get together with her makes their lives, difficult.
Like Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Exactly.
The
It's kind of an overused trope. Catholics are bad.
I should have waited for that, because then that would be a great way to transition into the fall. But go on.
Although I will say that this movie treats Catholics slightly better, because although the main bad guy is the head Catholic,
everyone's Catholic.
Yeah, everyone is. Matthew Broderick is still praying to God. The priest who cursed them is the main person trying.
Matthew Broderick is narrating to God.
Hey, praying is just communicating. So
I felt a little uncomfortable to somebody, like, what are you doing, God? You're so silly with these things. You test me.
I like it. It reminded me of Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, a little bit.
Where he's
probably slapsticky, but everything he does is.
But that was the point, is it was supposed to be lighthearted. Matthew Broderick set the tone so that when Broody Night came in, it didn't completely derail everything, because you still have Matthew Broderick who's having fun with the Lady Hawk.
But Matthew Broderick can't tell that Broody Night's a replicant the whole time, though. I don't...
Say that again?
But Matthew Broderick can't tell that Broody Night's a replicant, despite how he gets past like 20 questions.
Like tears in the wolf rain. Same actor, for those of you at home, plays the Broody Night and the main replicant from Blade Runner, the main robot.
Oh, man. I love Blade Runner.
That speech has stuck with me. Not a lot of that movie has, but the Tears in the Rain speech has stuck with me. So, okay, so enough on Lady Hawk, or more on Lady Hawk?
I think I've just about said my piece, other than
I agree with you, especially when you said that it caught you by surprise. I knew nothing. I expected nothing from this movie, and that's so rare for me, because I used to be such a trailer junkie, and if I didn't know the trailer, then I knew that the movie existed. This was a fresh, complete new movie, and normally when there's a new movie that I've never heard of from the 80s, it's terrible. But this was directed by Richard Donner, the same guy who did the Superman movies years previous, and it's really good. It's really good. It'll surprise you. So, viewer, I know we're probably not doing it justice, so go watch it.
I think I had to, I rented it on Google Play. I think it's also on Amazon. But like the aspect ratio is like stuck to a certain kind of thing. There are people complaining about it. I'm like, just watch the movie. It doesn't matter. Just watch the movie.
Some people are visual like that. I know our old roommate Sam was kind of like that. He was very
right. Well, they better listen to this, because my camera to your camera is.
Oh, is it that different?
Yeah, yours is a square, and mine is like even takes up less space. Like this way, it takes up less space.
Well, I'm also kind of like bugging for the camera a lot right now. I keep leaning forward every time I'm talking.
Right, and just like eating like the bottom of it.
I'm not trying to. I'm trying to be heard, and I'm more comfortable that way. It's really hard to find a good, because a futon is actually behind my chair.
Oh man, is someone asleep there?
The dog does right now. And if somebody comes over, if you come visit our house, that's probably where he'll stay.
Oh, I can't take the dog's bed. I'll just sleep on the roof.
No, I mean, she's just napping there now. She doesn't want to sleep there. All right.
So, speaking of cardinals and Notre Dame and the Romani people, let's talk about The Fall.
The Fall. Why don't you start with The Fall, Ray?
Okay, so The Fall is the movie that I've seen gift, because it's very visual. It's very visual, and it's very pretty, but it's like a foreign film, which is like amazing, just because it has like all like it feels very American in the way it's done, even though it does feel like a middle kind of production. Like, no, you got to have them get out of the hospital, and they're gonna go on a hike together. But it's very like set in the hospital, and then when it goes fantasy, it just explodes out to these wild locations. And so it's about this Romani girl that broke her arm from a fall. There's a lot of falling in this also. For movies that stick to their theme, the fall, it's everywhere. It's literal and figurative, like everything in the best movies. But it's this little girl who broke her arm, so she's wasting time in a hospital, and she meets this fella because she's bored, and the fella's, I think she sees, no, at first she drops her toy on him, and he has it in his hand, and he sees opportunity where he entertains her with stories in order to convince her to get Vicodin for him and morphine. They don't have Vicodin yet. Yeah. Sorry, your picture's in the corner. When I agree with you, that's where I'm going to look. Yeah, that's right, Trey. You actually right there in the camera.
Because I keep looking at myself.
Let me tell you a story. And it did feel like a lot like The One for me, just because of how visual it was and how there were so many bright, vibrant colors when they went into the fantasy storytelling. And the little girl is Romani, which, if you didn't know, is the word that is the G word, which is starting to take about as much umbrage as like the old N word. So if you don't know, it's the people that used to be referred to as gypsies. And in several movies, they're still like referred to as that. But that word is a slander word for the Romani, which were originally a nomadic people that lived in Europe, and they were looked on with distrust because they were thought of as thieves, and they were often traveling. And even like when they settled down, like when you go out through the centuries, there's a lot less traveling because it's a lot less able to travel, and they settle down. They're still like looked down on wherever they go, including like America.
If I have a quick side note.
Yeah.
Gypsies are a subculture of Romania, not all Romani people.
Right, but it's the Romani that are stuck to it. Now it's not a word that it's socially acceptable to use anymore. News to you, right? Right, yeah, it's true.
I thought it was just the term to describe them, like how I'm American. They are gypsies.
Not necessarily. The Romani.
These words become offensive when I haven't used them offensively.
When they're used to like put down people, and when they're very associated to a negative type, that's when it happens. So, yeah, but it never refers to her as that in this movie. But it is clearly stated that she's Romani, and you see her mother, and her mother's concerned for her to go back out. And it gets really emotionally heavy, and I didn't expect this movie to go like that. Like, I thought it would just be kind of goofy, especially when he's like, how he's so obviously like tailoring the story to her. At first, he tries to put on that's her father. He's like, no, it's not my father. It's you or something. So the person in the fantasy turns to him, and man, those abs, just man. But you get a lot of fantastic, like, one note and colorful but fantastic characters for this. Well, as far as in the fantasy, which really plays on that it's a story within a story. And I loved it. It was great.
You might hate me after this.
Because you're not going to love it? But man, no, it just reminded me of like...
I didn't say I don't love it.
Okay.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it. But the thing that kept echoing in my mind the whole time I was watching this movie is, why am I not watching Secondhand Lions? I like Secondhand Lions better. It's less depressing.
No, depressing is the exhilarating part of it, though.
I don't want to be that depressed. Also, Secondhand Lions is depressing. He goes through the story. He gets the girl. You know what happened? The girl died off screen.
Secondhand Lions. Don't talk about Secondhand Lions anymore.
I wanted to watch Secondhand Lions. I think it's a better story within a story. It kept reminding me of it, and the fall was too. Part of the reason
That's why I don't compare betters.
I will say, it's hard for me to get visual movies because I am colorblind. So
Oh, forgot.
Van Gogh paintings pop out to me because Van Gogh was colorblind, but visually striking movies, with very few exceptions, don't pop out to me because a lot of those colors blend one into another and I don't see them pop. I didn't realize, my wife got me some nice colorblind glasses, colorblind correction glasses, like sunglasses, and they're not perfect. They tint everything red. But I didn't know, I thought all leaves from a tree, when a tree was healthy, were the same color. I did not know that there were multiple tones on those leaves. And so I watch a visually striking movie like this that's supposed to draw me in with colors and make me feel things just through colors and not just visuals. And I just can't get it. I have that physical barrier to it. And so that's part of it. Is you mentioned the visuals of this movie a lot. Now it's a visual movie. That was the first thing you said. That doesn't work for me when it's color based. Typically. So, and again, I'm not trying to say the movie's terrible. I enjoyed watching the movie, but I'm probably never going to watch it again because it didn't grab me. The story was not enough alone to grab me. Although some of the visuals, some of the camera work. Now that you say it's a foreign film, I might watch it again with that filter on, because I thought it was an American movie and I was like, this is interesting. But maybe viewing it through that lens, that mindset, it'll hold up a little better.
No, that's the set. I don't think. Well, right now, I don't think we're set up to make that kind of movie because it'd be like a middle budget kind of movie where we either go small budget like nothing or like high budget super Avengers.
Sure.
Like, there's not really middle budget kind of movies that we're making that much.
Right, because they're middle budget movies, so they don't get the advertising revenue. And that, I will say, that's part of the problem with today's movie culture is with Disney coming out with like 5 Avengers movies a year, and we have the DC universe coming out with movies and the Star Wars universe coming out with movies. Now, I know those are all super nerdy movies I mentioned, but those are the must-see movies, the Avengers movies. So the average American only sees 4 to 6 movies per year in the theater. So people just get burnt out with all these new movies that you have to see coming out, and all these middle budget movies get completely passed over by Captain America Civil War and Star Wars Episode 7.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just saying that's the culture, is that middle budget movies in this year at this time in cinematic history are super impossible to get noticed.
Well, it's also partly generated by money. Like, the figureheads of these businesses, and I can only talk so much about it because we're not in it, but they always, why would I make the middle budget movie and have a middle slot where I could have a big budget movie and have either a fantastic flop that everyone hates, or I could make enough stupid money off of Transformers.
Well, and then so much of those movies, their entire success is dependent upon how they do opening weekend.
Right, but so much of that is just dependent on how much they advertise, and if they take twice the movie's budget to advertise and make people see it.
Right, and so it's not really a fair assessment, but that's just what the market is. And again, like you said, we're not in the market, so we won't speak to this too much. But
other than we are definitely not slaves. We're definitely
we still determine
advertising.
You and I going to a movie still determines what's popular.
Yeah. Well, that's not true, because I went to see Rock the Casbah, and
well, you should have told more people to watch it, I guess.
Go watch Rock the Casbah. Oh, it's not out anymore, I don't think. Maybe. I don't know.
And it's got a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right? And you still haven't seen it.
No, and I probably won't.
Yeah, no, you probably won't unless you just like make an effort to see it, which I think is pretty good.
All right, next movie.
Oh, that's all you wanted to say? Because I felt...
okay, so I will say the story was told interestingly, and I was really drawn in at one point where he said an Indian, and he's thinking of a Native American, but she, being from Romania and having an Indian from the country of India best friend, she was thinking like a Rajput Indian.
I thought her like stepdad was Indian, which is how she got it, I think. Right?
She said her best friend was Indian, if I recall.
Okay.
I don't remember her having a stepdad. I thought her mom was just single now.
Oh, well, it kept on showing that man on the farm, so I figured that was like her stepdad.
Well, there was her dad on
the guy that had like the awesome mustache, and the
well, there was her dad on the farm. He died, and there was the bandit that killed him.
Mm.
But
no pirates.
What?
No pirates. No. She was adorable. I loved her. What did you think of the little girl?
Did a pretty good job. Roy was okay. I definitely felt his personality through the storytelling. I don't know. It just didn't grab me. The whole movie just didn't grab me like most movies do. I won't say it's bad. Won't say I hated it. I don't regret seeing it, but it was not my favorite movie.
That's okay. I love this movie. I love this movie so much. Like, and then they have the meta layer to it, because even it's like the start of motion pictures, and like he's a stuntman. I figured he'd be a writer, but apparently he was a stuntman in like in old black and white movies.
Yep.
And it's just like, and there's his lost love that's like the background to it, but and he's just sad, and it eventually comes out in the story, and it just reminds me of like when you watch any kind of program, or if you keep track of any kind of like fan reaction to things that happen on television, like, and characters start dying and everyone just starts freaking out and they start gifting their reaction. Like the little girl's reaction, like as he was going, she's like, "Stop killing them!" And, like, I could see that gift. She was like enacting a gift, like, "No, stop writing sad things."
And he's like, "No!" And he keeps chugging more morphine.
It's like I'm getting near the end of Metal Gear Solid, and people are starting to leave and die. I'm like, no, the world's crumbling apart. You're all friends. Remember when you were friends? Everyone's go.
Also, so the Italian kind of looked Russian to me.
Which one was the Italian the explosives expert?
Yeah, the Italian was the explosives expert. And then there was.
I think I got that. I think I get that vibe too.
So the Native American turned out Indian, like from the country of India. The Italian turned out to be Russian. Who else was in there? There was obviously the bandit.
The bandit ends up being here, and not a pirate, but he dresses like a pirate.
Who else was there in the crew?
There
was the
yeah,
I was gonna say the shaman who came out of the tree.
Right. And then there was the
that was weird.
Yeah, the shaman parts were all really weird, but very like old Hollywood in that kind of weird way.
They were I would say they were more girls' brain folktales than old Hollywood, because old Hollywood would have painted them very stereotypically. They would have been pirates, they would have been cowboys, they would have been a Native American.
Right. But I feel like kind of like around King Kong, like they did have that like focus on like Arabia, or
they did. Well, no,
and kind of.
I thought that started with Lawrence of Arabia in like the 60s.
Was that the 60s? It could have been. I feel like it was older, maybe.
Because it was not. Peter O'Toole, and Peter O'Toole was in movies up through Troy with Brad Pitt.
I feel like, did early movies, were there a lot of like 99 Nights kind of stories? I feel like they.
Not that I remember. Not at all.
Not? Okay.
I could be wrong, but not that I recall. Like a lot of it was Americana. It was westerns. It was fancy balls. It was tying young ladies to railroad tracks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. We should watch. What is that? That's the movie that's all about old films. That's like a kid's name, and it takes place in a train station. And he builds a robot or something.
What?
There was that movie last year, maybe a couple of years ago. It was, the name of it is a kid's thing, but it's a movie about movies. It's a lot of clockwork symbolism.
Watch it for next time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that when you go off on your. Oh, where are we?
So we went through Lady Hawk. We went through The Fall. Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror, because nothing says thematic costumes, like just going through your mom's closet and grabbing her girders.
Yeah, basically.
Briefly touching on Pretty in Pink, it struck me odd that she put like tights on and then she put socks on. I'm like, I thought you could just use tights for socks because they're gonna get just as sweaty as socks.
In the 80s. That's why leg warmers were a thing.
It seems like overkill. Like one thing per leg. Like,
that was the 80s, dude. It's also supposed to be like 1 or 2 things per shoulder, but they kept stacking.
Like I understand layers, but I just don't understand like.
No, I know, but shoulder pads. I mean, well, I mean the way kids actually dressed in the 80s, Breakfast Club got it right. Breakfast Club got it pretty dead on.
I did like Breakfast Club clothes a lot better than Pretty in Pink.
Again, Pretty in Pink was making a statement. These kids are poor, and that's why you don't remember anything about what her boyfriend was wearing. We just went over it, and I can't remember his name. He was so boring. James Spader.
Dwayne?
Is that his name?
Dwayne? Automobile?
With something McDonald. Anyway, you know who I'm talking about. His clothes were up to date and didn't seem out of place. The same with James Spader. James Spader wore his clothes like showing off his chest hair at all times, but they were
so good
clothes. They were trendy clothes of the time with the blazers and the white pants. But Andy and Ducky stand out because they can't afford trendy clothes, so they have trendy clothes from 10 to 20 years ago. Whereas Breakfast Club, it was supposed to be understated. These are regular teens from all walks of life and all cliques, all meeting in detention.
Yeah.
I really keep expecting.
Speaking of weird clothes, let's strap on some. We're talking about garter belts. Rocky Horror. Let's do the time warp again. Jump to the left.
Step to the right.
So you don't like this movie?
I did not enjoy this movie. No.
It is a B musical.
It was sad because I love
classic.
Tim Curry. Tim Curry is like one of my favorite actors, and it was wrong. Oh, it was so wrong. Anyway, you can go ahead.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out what it's not Ian, it's Malcolm, it's but no, it is a B movie, and apparently I've never seen it the way it should be seen with an audience.
I looked up the way props and scripts, and I read those along as I was doing it, so I didn't have a crowd of people doing this with me or anything. I didn't do it,
apparently it's a lot of fun with a crowd. Like I've only seen this in like a romantic comedy. They go to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and and people bringing umbrellas and they have newspapers and they're reacting to the screen off cues.
Yep.
Damn it, Janet. I mean, there's some pretty great songs in there.
I didn't love the songs. A lot of them became repetitive to me.
Time Warp is great. I love Time Warp.
Time Warp is the most memorable one, sure, but think about who's the ex-delivery boy played by Meatloaf?
I don't know. The one that dies right away?
Cycle, who gets murdered brutally?
Right away? Yeah, the guy who gets murdered. I'm pretty sure he's murdered.
He has one song, and it's the same line repeated over and over. God bless my soul. I really love that rock and roll. Repeat ad nauseum while people jump out of the way of his motorcycle.
It's so they can kill him, and you'd be fine with it. Like, yeah, he's dead. Now Tim Curry can be awesome.
I'm still not fine with it.
Tim Curry being fabulous. Oh, Tim Curry.
Oh, man. He's been trying to run from that performance his entire career.
Oh, no reason. He's great.
There were some funny points. I did laugh, but not throughout. I did not find the whole thing enjoyable. Like I said, I tried to watch it with the background in my mind of the people around me holding up newspapers, apparently actors up front reciting the lines with the movie. That seems distracting to me.
Yeah, it does, but I don't hate the movie as I watch it.
the sword of Damocles is hanging over his head.
Oh.
I don't know why the sword of Damocles is hanging over his head. The point is, power is fleeting.
Oh, so fleeting.
And what power does he have? He just got born.
Rocky. Yeah, like, I thought I was going to be able to see it with people because someone was going to live cast it.
Sure.
But it turned out I was incorrect. They were not live casting the Rocky Horror Picture Show and reacting to it. It was Rocky, the boxing movie.
I love that movie.
I know, but I'm like, no, I thought I was going to be able to see Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I'd have more tales to talk about.
So, I mean, what else? I don't have much to say about Rocky Horror Picture Show. Found it odd. Found it scary. Found the songs repetitive, not great. Like I said,
I think it's a pretty fun movie.
Okay.
I
don't think so, but you're not. You might. I mean, if it's fun for you, that's great.
Tim Curry is fucking skinny. I don't know. I like skinny people without shirts. It's weird.
That is weird,
right? Like oh man, like in Wet Hot American Summer, the guy just like is skinny the whole time.
I think you like seeing people you know to be heavier than seeing them skinny.
Maybe I do. Do you have a skinny version of yourself that I can see, Trey?
No,
Yeah.
I've always been big.
You gotta take off that shirt for me and get skinny. Do it. You don't have to do it. I'm kidding. Oh, I love you, Trey. You almost looked by the camera on that one. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have much more to say either. I mean, if I loved it and could like go through like point by point the things I loved in it, that would be one thing.
But it doesn't stick out to you that way.
Yeah, I do love Tim Curry's performance. I haven't seen it all the way through.
Curry is an underrated actor. He is one of the most underrated actors. Not the most, but he's one of the most underrated actors ever.
My mother has no idea who Tim Curry is. Like, no, like
I knew about
evil Satan.
I discovered Tim Curry from a very early age because I saw Muppet Treasure Island at a very young and impressionable age, and that's still one of my favorite movies. And he still gives the best performance as Long John Silver that I've ever seen.
Okay.
And and he also has done a lot of voice work, like he did Peter Pan and the Pirates. He was almost the Joker instead of Mark Hamill. I'm glad Mark Hamill got that role. He's a better Joker voice. But Tim Curry has still done a ton of voice work, just a ton. I love it.
I would be like, how do I feel about Tim Curry Joker? I would know it was Tim Curry right away.
You can look it up on YouTube to hear his performance. It doesn't sound like the Joker to me, but that's because I grew up hearing Mark Hamill Joker. So I got used to the guy they took over him, But either way, both of them were reunited on regular show when Tim Curry played the lead sentient hot dog.
Oh. I've only seen season 1. I don't know if the rest is open to me yet.
I think it's season 2, where Benson buys the super premium hot dogs, and Rigby loses them, and he keeps saying he'll fix it, but he keeps making literally everything worse, and he locks them in the freezer.
That sounds like every show.
I know.
I've told you that Adventure Time is kids dealing with adult problems, and regular show is adults dealing with nominal kid problems.
Wait, what was the last one? What's adults dealing with kid problems?
Adventure Time. No. Yeah, no. Regular show is adults dealing with nothing, small problems, and Adventure Time is huge problems. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, that's what it is, but they're both fantastic in their way.
Oh, I love regular show. Adventure Time is good, but I've never gotten into Adventure Time the same way I've gotten into regular show. I bought the regular show comics. I love them.
Oh, see, I got really into Adventure Time, and I really like regular show, but I didn't get hard into it. I have two regular show T-shirts.
Yeah.
More than I have Adventure Time T-shirts.
Oh, I want regular show T-shirts so bad. If
a medium could fit you, I would give it to you.
XL.
I have a medium one and a small one.
XL. Sorry.
Get skinny for me. I could.
Oh, you'd love that, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would love that. I want that.
So what are the last things we have to talk about then?
I really got into Steven Universe. That was my other television cartoon show.
I haven't seen it.
It's fantastic. I love it so much. Do we want to talk about the Fury Road, or do we want to watch that once over one more?
Let's watch it over because we've gone a while as is. We've gone like a full 2 hours. Have we gone 2 hours?
I don't know. My cell phone is actually in that Pip-Boy back there.
What time did we start?
A little after 6. Yes, that is 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay, then let's skip that. Let's go straight to
Big Bang Theory, which is all you, buddy.
No, I want to hear your opinion on this, but
okay. Thinking about it in the last couple times, like, we mentioned 2.5 Men in there. What do you think about 2.5 Men as it's like, what really like gets under your skin about 2.5 Men?
What really gets under my skin, it's kind of hard to pin down because nothing really got under my skin with 2.5 Men at first. I started off enjoying the show. The show got repetitive with the same jokes and the same tired plot lines pretty much every episode, and then I stopped watching. Just faded away.
I agree with that. But like what I like surmised it to be, and I think it was after I watched Big Bang Theory a while, is that it's just mean, like under its skin. Like
jokes are always at somebody's expense.
It's always like someone's expense, but then like at the end of the show, like they will kind of learn their lesson and they're kind of like going towards like some kind of development, but there's like it's kind of just dead inside. Where like if they're like, oh, okay, let's be family and togetherness, and they're kind of like just going through that motion. Like I guess it's supposed to be family togetherness. Eventually, they just stop even trying to learn lessons. So it just feels kind of like heartless right there. And I feel like that
because they're arrested and they'll always revert back to their old ways, but not in a funny way.
I feel like it more has to do with the writers though than the show than the characters.
I was going to say because Arrested Development, the whole idea is they learn a lesson, but they're arrested in their development, so they'll never change and never grow.
Right? It's a play. It's
a play on words.
It's a literal thing because they're arrested and they're developing the thing, and it's also a metaphor thing. You got the two. It's like the fall.
But the writers.
There's all the falls happening, and there's all the arresteds, and then they're developing but not developing, and it's.
But the writers on Arrested Development are actually clever, and they change up the story.
Oh God, right.
And so it's
not compare.
Even if it's the same sets, they have different jokes, or if they're returning to the same jokes, they bring them up in fresh ways. Whereas, like on paper, they're very similar. It's the same family in the same house, learning the same lessons and forgetting the same lessons,
right?
After week after week,
until the son finds Jesus, right? And then he leaves.
Really? Is that what happened to him?
Yeah, he split the show, and
I know that, but I didn't know he found Jesus.
Yeah, he returned. He returned as like the last episode with like long hair, and the best thing to come from 2.5 Men is a short periodical that said the whole thing is actually a fever dream from and takes place in hell. Demonstrated most when in the last episode, Charlie Sheen, having escaped in a cartoon sequence from his old fiance/wife, finally makes it back home and knocks on the door to be reunited with his family, but a piano falls on him. And then the camera zooms out to see the director sitting in a chair and laughing at everyone. And then the show ends.
Is that really what happens?
That's what happens in the final episode.
Oh my gosh, they just take one final dump on Charlie Sheen?
No, it takes one final dump on everyone. But no, that's kind of what I feel with like Big Bang Theory. Like I feel like there's like one writer in there that like, and they're able to reference enough things, but it just feels mean at the end of everything. Like everything feels just kind of disingenuous. Like it's, and there are some like funny moments in the show, but I do feel like I'm the butt of the joke when I watch it, and I feel like the people don't really care. It feels like a very cynical problem.
Like people don't actually care to embrace the nerd
Yeah.
or geek culture that you share, that you and I share.
Yeah.
Nobody actually wants to grow. They just kind of want to point and laugh at how ridiculous Sheldon is.
Right. And like one illustration that somebody used, like this is before the Flash show came out, but Sheldon's known for wearing a Flash shirt, and they sell the Flash shirt, the same one that he wears, but people, instead of saying that's the Flash, they'd be like, oh, that's the shirt from the Big Bang Theory, and that's.
Yeah, that makes sense. I thought you were talking about, because in the Flash, Cisco Ramon wears Big Bang Theory T-shirts.
Oh, that is really. I wouldn't know that. Wait, I think I might have noticed a Bazinga shirt once. Maybe
he wears Bazinga in the first couple episodes. He's wearing the Rock Paper Scissors Lizard Spock T-shirt.
Oh, wait, is that Talk?
Huh?
The director took back over. I can stop clicking. Oh, victory!
I was just gonna leave it on you for a while there.
Oh man, they probably noticed the clicking the whole video.
I haven't heard any clicking.
Well, you don't hear it, but I think I've heard it on the recording when I've had to take over.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's probably gonna be this whole time.
Anyway, moving on. You're getting tRay. You yelled at me for doing that. We're not doing that.
I didn't yell at you. You talked about how great the fall is for going meta.
Okay, so
the meta episodes of Supernatural, like some of my favorite ones.
I've never seen Supernatural. It's on my list.
There's some super meta episodes. It's great.
Yeah, I was always, whenever Supernatural was on, The Office was on, and I always picked The Office.
Get really used to throwing away subtlety. Like they're one of the shows that like they're not going to let a character live without killing them really soon.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Okay, so Big Bang Theory. They're mean, and the joke is at your and my expense, where they're saying that's the Big Bang Theory T-shirt, not the Flash.
Yeah.
Did you want to continue on that? Did you have more to say about that before?
I think that was about it, and like because there's no like growing up with it. They do Stone Back, like Penny starts dating the kid, but the whole joke the whole time is, man, what a nerd this person is. And though they start to change Penny and she starts to like get into nerdy stuff, but the joke's always like, oh man, I can't believe what a nerd I am now. But not, instead of just like accepting it, this is just an okay thing for people to do, and an okay thing that some people like. And it just.
Do you know of any media that does what you're asking to do, where it starts off taking a look at nerd culture and being like, oh, that's weird, but then people genuinely accept it as a way of life? Do you know of anything that does that?
Well, I feel like everything that does that, they start out with a love for it.
Okay, do you have any examples of that?
Yeah, like, it's always more subtle because the people that make that kind of stuff is better about it.
Okay. What type?
Like, there's definitely, like, I'd say, not Serenity, Firefly is one.
Okay, but Firefly is not based around a nerd and his nerd family. It's based around a space cowboy.
Right. They always do it as proportion for, like, a normal person. It's just good programming. Like even Arrested Development, it doesn't start out this guy's a nerd. It starts out, well, it kind of does start out this guy's a nerd, and look at all these people that make fun of the nerd, but like they do get together and they do get along and they are smart about stuff.
I still don't see what you're saying. I'm trying to flesh this out. I'm not trying to like disprove you or anything like that.
This was supposed to be all about your diatribe. Yeah.
Well, the way I thought about it was I started off watching the show, and especially the first and second season, the jokes were funny and they were referencing things that I had talked about. And I always said that the Big Bang Theory, at least seasons 1 and 2, because that was all I had seen at this point, the Big Bang Theory seasons 1 and 2 were my entire college career. Was we talk about stuff like that. Like I remember in the first couple episodes, they're talking about They're talking about the physics of Superman. And Penny's like, oh, like how a man can't actually fly. And Sheldon walks up and he says, well, no, let's assume he can. You know, if Lois Lane is falling and he catches her in his arms, then she's going to be cut into 3 individual pieces. And then they start arguing about that. You're telling me he can fly, but he can't slow himself down? And I laughed because I had those conversations. I mean, it was kind of look at the nerds, but I was like, hey, I've had that exact conversation, and I enjoy that. And then, of course, the punchline is always Penny's like, okay, I'm better than everyone, and walks away. And that's what kind of started to stick in my craw once I realized that was happening. And I didn't view it as mean necessarily, not more mean than any other sitcom, because let's face it, most sitcoms are a bunch of people making fun of every other person on that sitcom. Like Seinfeld, they're always making fun of George or Elaine or Kramer. Jerry's typically above repute, but they'll even poke fun at him for his like OCD habits or when he goes vegetarian for a week or whatever. And then there's Everybody Loves Raymond, where his wife is always calling him an idiot and they're always complaining about his mother-in-law. Sitcoms kind of take their bread and butter from jokes at the expense of other people. But at some point, I think it's just the fact that Big Bang Theory was using the exact same joke every scene. And like you said, look at this giant nerd and look how better we are than him, even when somebody starts to fall into that lifestyle. And nobody's actually growing from it. Nobody's changing until they start to get romantic relationships, and then everybody's dating and whatever. So, but I see what you mean where it's mean. It seems cruel. It seems more at the expense of the other characters than most sitcoms, especially at Us, because that is our culture.
I feel like I think it's part of a shared, because it's pop culture and it might be a subculture, but it's part of culture at large. I feel like, so you have to have heart at the. Oopsie, that's gonna sound terrible. You have to have heart at the center of these shows. Like Everybody Loves Raymond, there's still love there. Like everyone's goal was to like get together, and everyone was selfish, but at the end of the day, everyone was hung around each other because they loved each other. Even though they make fun of Robert loves his brother.
Yeah, and if I met Sheldon Cooper in real life and had to live with him, I'd probably move out. Like that, he's very annoying. There's nothing lovable about that character to me. I could be wrong, but
yeah, my mom's like, I think Sheldon has Asperger's or something. I'm like, Mom, they all probably have Asperger's.
Yeah,
that's why they're smart. Not why they're smart, but that's part of how they're smart.
But it's just after a while, and I think you kind of touched on something. I think you have to have writers and a crew that genuinely cares. I think you have to have people, and that's typically what draws me to a movie. Like even a really bad movie where the actors and the director and the cinematographer are really giving it their all, like The Last Dragon, which we should add to our watch list. The movie Last Dragon. The Last Dragon is objectively a bad movie. There's a lot of plot holes. There's a lot of plot holes. The plot makes very little sense, but everybody in that movie cares. You can see them having fun with it, and that's what makes me care about this movie. I genuinely went into that movie expecting to see a bad movie like Troll 2 or The Room, and by the end, I'm genuinely cheering, yeah, Bruce Leroy Green, let's do this.
Or like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
No, not for me. But
it's a bad movie.
It is objectively a bad movie, but you enjoy it, right? Because you see everybody having a fun time. And those were the times I enjoyed from Rocky Horror, was when I see Tim Curry on screen just having fun with his character, being crazy.
Oh, Tim Curry.
Or when the two guys come in at the end with their gun, and I won't spoil anything for those who haven't seen it, but
What? Are you afraid of spoiling Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Yeah. I didn't know about it.
The story doesn't matter. They're all aliens and they come in to take them
You
together.
suck.
It's not a big deal.
When they come in and they're aliens, he's like, we must get back to the planet transsexual in the Transylvania Nebula. And he's got his weird tri-fork gun.
Everyone's in stockings and garters.
But the fact that, like, that like they're genuinely having fun with it. Those parts were enjoyable to watch in an objectively bad movie.
But
So,
so great in a way.
so you're lacking that with The Big Bang Theory, and once I realized that, the whole show was just a giant hollow shell.
Right? And you made fun of me for like watching so many seasons, but I want to spend time with
No,
my
I didn't,
family,
because I watched those same seasons.
right? I want to spend time with my family, and that is just about the only way we spend time together.
Oh.
Which is also why I feel fine living in Iowa, away from them. Because they don't want to talk to me about this nerdy shit that I talk about.
They want to laugh at you and look at you and poke fun.
Well, not necessarily. They just sit around and watch TV and then talk about why am I playing video games? Because they're fun, because they're stories, because I'm involved, because I get to write and be creative. And when I go home, we just sit around and watch TV, and once in a while I can sneak in a diatribe about Superman or why Steven Universe is awesome. Or what's the last thing we talked about? I think we did talk about I think my parents saw Rocky Horror Picture Show on television.
Not a good place to see it.
They hated everything. I don't know how they saw so much of it.
I think because they were drawn in, because Tim Curry was having fun and he has such a stage presence.
Like maybe. And I had like mentioned to my mother, because I was talking about something in Rocky Horror Picture Show and how great Tim Curry is, and she's like, "Who is Tim Curry?" And I struggled to find something that she would know because she doesn't remember movies.
Did she watch Psych?
She might have.
Because if she watches Psych, Tim Curry guest starred on the episode with American Duos.
I think I did. I literally dug through his IMDb trying to use on my mother.
And so
the list of movies for next time. I figured out the movie I was trying to say. Hugo is a movie about old movies.
Okay.
And then I was thinking Garden State, just because it's connected to Say Anything.
Yeah.
And I had this idea for a tiny segment, like movies that we used to love, but now almost feel like defending and feel like tearing apart a little. But just, I don't know, maybe if you have a movie that's like Say Anything, like
that have lost that love and feeling.
Yeah, like I feel like the two for me is like Say Anything and Fight Club.
I'm sorry. So you feel like you have to defend Fight Club even though you don't like it anymore? Is what you're saying?
I don't love it like I used to. Like I recognize a disservice. Like, yeah, my dad's like, this isn't my dad, but for an example, like I feel like my dad's cool and he paid for stuff, but he's also an alcoholic. Like you feel like you have to go back and like smack it around a bit, even though you used to love it so intently.
Childhood favorites that don't hold up well over time.
I feel like it's more teen favorites, because childhood favorite, like the Ninja Turtles, like I don't have to.
Hey, Ninja Turtles still holds up, my friend.
I don't have to defend the Ninja Turtles. I have to defend Garden State and its manic pixie dream girlness.
That means I have to think of a movie that doesn't hold up well over time that I need to defend.
Yeah. Like, if you want, you can do Fight Club.
No, I don't want to do Fight Club because I've only ever seen that once. It's not.
Oh, you didn't love Fight Club. That makes sense.
I liked Fight Club. I enjoyed it, and it stuck with me. Right. But I've only ever seen it once. It didn't stick with me as a teen. It's not a favorite of mine.
Right. You didn't buy it and then buy the special edition and then buy the Blu-ray, despite the fact that you don't really like it in that way anymore.
Exactly.
And you see a definite flaw between the jobs suck mentality of 1999 and Nirvana, and you think maybe there's a bit of a disservice there and a disconnect.
So let me think here for a second. Why don't you go on a rant? Because I'm
gonna go through my next two choices. So then I figured you just said The Last Dragon.
Yeah.
And I figured Secondhand Lions, because I've never seen Secondhand Lions. I remember not wanting to see it because Haley Joel Osment was in it. It also seemed to be about lions and movies about animals.
Robert Duvall and Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. Yeah, no, Michael Caine ruined Inception, so I don't think.
Excuse you? How did Michael Caine ruin Inception with
Michael Caine said, "Well, of course the end of Inception is real. I'm there, and I'm real, and I'm Michael Caine, so it's real."
First off, he was joking. Second, the director said it doesn't matter. Third, it is real, and I can explain why.
Oh, Inception is ask me one you acknowledge is kind of bad in a way.
What's that?
I'm gonna say is Inception on our list, but no, ask me one you kind of acknowledge is bad in a way.
Wait, say that again.
For my theme.
Oh, and I will not acknowledge that Inception is bad.
You know, in like a thematic way, because I don't think it's problematic in the same kind of way that Fight Club or not American Psycho, American Beauty or Nirvana is kind of flawed.
I'm trying to think, because most of those movies that I think are flawed or that I don't want to see anymore, I just don't see anymore. So right? I don't think about them.
Yeah, like you can still love it. Like if you ask me if I love Garden State, I'd say yes. Even though the character is so special.
I could do Cable Guy because I love that movie, but
Cable Guy I have not seen. Have you seen Garden State?
No, I have not. I'll be watching Garden State.
Excellent.
I love though. I love everything about the Cable Guy. I can't recognize its flaws.
Yeah, because people panned that when it came out.
Oh, they did, and I love it. It's my favorite Ben Stiller movie.
Right? And that was gonna be my other requirement for the show is one of the two of us should have, or both of us should have not seen a movie in order to talk about it. Other than Fury Road, I will make glorious exceptions for.
What a lovely day!
I will break any rule I make. I don't believe in betters. I'll break that rule.
Okay.
I not believe in betters.
Here's the thing I want you to do, though, because we've both seen Fury Road before, just not within the last 30 days. Right. Now that the hype has died down, I want us to look at Fury Road critically.
I'm kidding. The hype is still there. I just saw like a group of Fury Road Christmas cards. Oh, what a lovely holiday. Okay. Do not get a dependence on tinsel. It will not always be there to fill you. Do not be addicted to tinsel.
But I am going to be watching this movie critically. I'm going to be looking for flaws to point out because I saw this movie and it was too awesome, and I want to say
that's necessary. I think you can. Are you dying? Oh, my phone is dying after being on for 2 hours.
Bye, phone.
In Pip-Boy mode.
In Pip-Boy mode.
I put it in my Pip-Boy. You want to see?
Yeah.
I got the Fallout.
Oh, nice.
So
what kind of phone do you have?
What?
What kind of phone do you have?
Oh, I have a regular ass crappy Android phone.
Like a Swappa Android phone?
It could be. It's one that Paul showed me. It's the Moto. It's
Moto X.
So it actually is meant for skinnier phones in here. So when I put it in, it kind of buckles in it, but it still gets in. They actually have a neat little app that will connect with your game console, and you can actually see your character's stats and stuff.
Yeah.
And switch tapes from your cell phone. So it's useful. It's cool. Though not this, because it slips off my arm because I have useless wrists. Watches always like slip off, and to the end, my wrist is not useful for anything.
You're blurry again.
I cannot gauntlet with my wrist. No, that didn't work.
So what else? I mean, is that a good list, do you think, or do you want to add anything else to it?
It depends. I definitely think it should be longer if we're going to go another 30 days. Because let's see, in that time I watched a bunch of shows that I felt like talking about somewhere. Like oh darn, I forgot what it was called. It's not Pleasantville. I thought it would be a lot like Twin Peaks. has a name like that. It's like something Pines, Holloway Pines. It has the guy from Albino Alligator, and he wakes up in a strange town, and everyone's kind of in there in plastic at first. So I thought it was gonna be surreal, like everyone acting kind of off, like in Twin Peaks. What it turned out is because everyone there is technically held hostage, and then they have several more twists. And it actually, I thought it was really good, but also really bad in a way, because they kind of did a thematic cock block where you think that it's going to grow a little or that it should go on with like the twist that gets revealed. But then Wayward Pines is what it's called.
Gotcha.
It was a mini series. I think it's 10 episodes. And I felt like I really liked about in the middle with the aspect of him having the secret, but then it kind of doubles back and there's a twist at the end that's like nothing has changed, and like, oh, that's terrible. I'm very frustrated with this.
I'm looking at my Ready Player One list. Do you want to watch Revenge of the Nerds, 1984?
Revenge of the Nerds. I have seen that one. Have you seen it? Okay. I'm gonna have some booger. Oh, what's that guy? I do like the actor now because I hear him talk about acting. And he goes on Harmontown. I like a lot. I forgot his name. Have you seen Harmontown?
No.
You should see him. It's streaming on like everything.
Okay.
It's a dark documentary about the writer of Community. And in the like
the show Community?
Yeah, the show Community.
Oh, Dan Harmon?
Dan Harmon. Yeah, it's his.
I like that guy.
They pretty much follow around as he did like a live show as a podcast because he was bored and he wasn't allowed to work on Community and stuff. But he goes around and he's like developed this like subculture, and they call themselves Harmontown, and they call the show Harmontown. And
yeah,
it's
I'll watch that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. I love it a lot, and also love Harmontown now.
Keep talking.
Dan Harmon, and I love Rick and Morty. So
Who doesn't love Rick and Morty? I mean, really.
I need to go back and watch some of his. They used to do not live one up, not one up. They used to do their sketch thing. It's related to Mr. Show. Heat Sink and Jack came out of it. 101? Sketch 101, Comedy 101 was the name of it. You disappeared. I'm going to keep talking then. All right, I said Harmontown. And you...
Talking about the soup?
The what?
The soup?
No.
Okay.
No, that's with Joe McHale.
Yeah.
No, they used to be Channel 101. They used to do a bunch of sketches through there, and they were kind of like on the internet. And what it started out was just like movie night. Like there's a bunch of talented people, like writers and actors, but they're not really doing anything because they're all looking for work because they're all poor. So pretty much the group of them, they would make like short skits and movies, and then they would like come together like once a month and watch them together. Mm-hmm. And eventually it started getting really big, and really famous people started doing it. Like, so he has sketches that he made with Jack Black and that one guy from Night at Museum.
There's a lot of guys in that.
The main guy.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. So Ben Stiller and Jack Black are on a bunch of skits. And they call themselves Channels 101. And it was like the early stuff.
I've been trying to watch more. I watched the first episode of With Bob and David on Netflix, which is...
what was the movie that you suggested before I said Harmontown?
I said Cable Guy. Do you have that down?
I do have that down.
What did I say? We were talking about...
You know what? This is a video. This is a video that I can just watch.
That's a good point.
We don't have to remember.
Well, do you want to wrap it up with that and wait another 30 days?
Oh, yeah, let's wrap it up with, did you find a one cool thing?
Nope.
Okay.
I have one cool thing. I do.
Awesome.
It's
before you say yours, I'm going to say mine because it's lame.
More lame, I guarantee you. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, one cool thing I did borrow from Script Notes, which is a podcast made by two screenwriters.
Sure.
And they do about script writing, and they talk about Hollywood and the process of making movies. But then they also talk about writing and plots and characters, and they're really entertaining, but they always end their show with, one cool thing, and that's where I stole it.
Ah.
So my one cool thing is, do you remember the original Ninja Turtles movie?
Yeah, of course.
Of course you do. Do you know the Foot Clan's hideout with all those video games and like half fights and stuff?
Yeah.
This is a real place that is still open.
That's super awesome.
I used to have the note here, but my phone's off. It's called Fulton Foundry, and it's in like San Francisco. It's in San Francisco.
Wow.
And it's a skate park. It's an indoor skate park and arcade and restaurant, I think, maybe. But it exists, and you can go there and play the games.
That's straight up impressive.
Right? You can bring boxes of Marlboros and offer them to people and cigarettes.
So my awesome thing is kind of related to that. I am building my own arcade cabinet.
Nice.
Out of a Raspberry Pi.
Before I start guessing and making terrible things happen, which is the flaw in all of Abram's work, tell me about your arcade cabinet.
Abram's work? Whose work?
J.J. Abram.
What did he do wrong?
He always does the mystery box thing, which is like this mystery that I'm going to hide from the audience, and it's going to make the movie. But it just makes people wonder about the movie. And when you make me think about movies, I'm going to think about something that is much cooler and better than what you actually made in your movie. So that's the downfall.
I don't know what you're talking about. When did he do that in Star Trek 1?
He did that. That was Khan. That was his whole thing. Like people
that was
like
Star Trek Into Darkness, which I did not love.
Yeah, no one
Barely
liked that. His big thing was like, this is, well, he didn't say, it's like, there's this mystery character, and like, is it Khan? He's like, no, it's a mystery.
And it was Khan.
Khan, and it's gonna be stupid if it's Khan. But there's
no mystery in the first Star Trek movie. Plus, he didn't write Into Darkness. That was a team.
Well, it's his team, but he's in charge of the big idea of it.
Sure, but they're still the writers,
right? Like the book S, where his idea is to make a story within a story about a mystery.
So,
but he didn't write it.
Did he do that? Did he do that in the original Star Trek?
I don't remember, but I also didn't expect great things and didn't get great things from the original Star Trek.
The original Star Trek was fantastic. I don't know what you're talking about.
It was not. Everyone was hyperized. Like, I think it's not a good Star Trek movie, but it's a good action movie.
Yeah, I don't need a good Star Trek movie. If I want a good Star Trek movie, I'll watch Wrath of Khan.
Star Trek movie.
What?
I need a good Star Trek movie.
Well, here's the thing, Ray. 2 exist. 2 good Star Trek movies exist.
What's your second one?
Wrath of Khan and First Contact. That's it.
No, First Contact. StarCraft the Motion Picture. Star Trek the Motion Picture. Wrath of Khan. What?
Slow motion.
It's pretty much a long episode of Star Trek.
Yeah, nobody wants that.
Things like, why does God need spaceships? It's so great.
You and the guy from Red Letter Media are the only ones in the world that want that.
Oh, I love it. I do.
And you know what? They did it again. They did that for a second movie. It's called Star Trek Insurrection, and that one sucks even worse.
I didn't see that one.
It's terrible.
I stopped watching the next gen things.
Nemesis is passable, but only by a few. Me and Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, are the only people in the universe. Me and my dad and Doug Walker are the only people in the universe who liked Nemesis.
And they copied the plot of Nemesis for the first Star Trek.
No, they copied Wrath of Khan for Nemesis.
No, for the J.J. Abrams StarCraft movie, that's Star Trek Nemesis.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
There's no clone of...
There's a big evil ship that's going to destroy all the other ships.
That's all of them! That is every Star Trek movie!
Not the motion picture!
Where God needs a starship? That's fantastic.
That's fantastic.
That's stupid!
So fantastic.
It's the dumbest thing. So you just replace a starship with Space God, who's not really Space God. He's a boring...
questions of gender and...
it was
story.
Stupid. Stupid, and it was
what is it to be human?
Waste of time.
Where the new one is just Spock angry. There's not.
Yeah, no, I don't like Spock getting angry in Into Darkness. I did not like Into Darkness that much. It was fun the first time, but then there was a lot of fridge logic that went on. Like I went back and I was like, Wait, this isn't actually good.
It's not.
So I don't know where you're getting. I still liked Star Trek 1, as does everybody I talk to except you.
I hate it.
Why? Why?
I told you why, and you did not accept. Or you interrupted me and you did not accept. Either way.
I've interrupted you, so I apologize.
No, but like Star Trek's supposed to be about humanity coming together to solve problems, but instead it's just like punching and yelling. So it's a good action movie, but it's not a good Star Trek movie.
Yeah, that's what I want. Because
I do still want that Star Trek. There's a Star Trek hole in me.
Well, you can watch the motion picture, or you can watch the show. The show does that a lot better, just because it's a show. You can spend the time to have characters talk to one another the whole time.
So great.
And that's why, like,
conflict.
You know, the thing is, Gene Roddenberry always. He was near the end of his life. He had like cancer or something when he was writing The Next Generation. His idea for the show is this perfect humanity that has absolutely no problems ever again, and everybody just gets along. And you know what? That got boring, and so they had to bring on Locutus of Borg.
Boring. They still had to deal with like what to do with this planet.
What to do with this planet? How about what to do with this Borg invasion that captured your captain? How about with Riker?
Is Data a human? Is Data real? Does he have his own sentience? Is it murder to take him apart?
Okay, but then the most they do with that is, Data's recording some Shakespeare and musing about it.
No, they do a whole thing. What is it to be human? What is the soul? They have a whole tribunal about it.
When do they do that?
In The Next Generation.
When? Which episodes?
I think it's in the second season. You pretty much don't need to watch the first season of Next Generation.
And that's my point, is the first season of Next Generation...
But there are like 12 seasons.
The first season of Next Generation was Star Trek The Slow Motion Picture. Then things started to get interesting, but you can't just have a bunch of characters muse over what is a soul and what is sentience for an hour and a half movie.
And it's great.
What?
Like, oh man, and the first episode of Deep Space Nine is so fantastic, where the captain has to try to communicate with a non-linear communal consciousness that is a black hole, and he has to try to explain reasoning and how he sees time, and it's so at the same time he's working out like things. Is so great.
You know what made Deep Space Nine good? The Dominion War action.
Oh, the Dominion War was terrible.
It's amazing. It's
no
part worth watching.
All the mystique, like the Klingons were these terrible things that you had to take a movie in order to fight, and then all of a sudden they're just blasting away like paper mache.
I'm just saying.
Not cool.
It was, and that's what people want. That's what a movie is about. Star Trek: The Slow Motion Picture didn't do well intentionally. You know what did do well? Wrath of Khan. Everybody loves Wrath of Khan. Wrath of Khan's amazing.
Well, it's still Star Trek in a way.
In its own way, but it's still an action movie. It still all comes down to a battle of wits in ship-to-ship combat. Now, it's a battle of wits, I grant you, not just who can fire the most torpedoes fastest.
Or how much can Spock punch person on floating boat?
Again, we're not trying to compare it to Into Darkness. That movie was bad.
Can I compare Into Darkness to episode 3?
Yes.
And now can I be sad
No, I like
the person is directing Star Wars?
I like episode 3, actually.
Oh. Whoa.
Yeah, you can disagree with me there, but I feel like it's the best movie of the prequels.
Of the shit?
Well, on its own. What?
It's the best movie of the shit. It's all shit. Garbage.
It's not all garbage. There's some fun stuff in there. Hayden Christensen is not fun stuff. I don't like him as an actor. As a person,
see Natalie Portman's back. That's nice. I like seeing Natalie Portman's back.
If you want to watch porn, watch porn. I'm talking about story.
You can't watch porn with Natalie Portman. I've tried, and it doesn't come up right.
You nasty.
You went there.
I did. But either way, like the Emperor Palpatine, is it Ian McDermott?
Palpatine's behind it all.
He had so much fun in Star Wars Episode 3 that I couldn't not have fun. The story came together.
Yeah, he's kind of the only character.
What?
Yeah, Palpatine's kind of the only character.
Worth caring about, yeah. Mace Windu is not good. Yoda is...
I mean, he's no James Spader. Oh, man, just James Spader as the Emperor.
Now imagining all of
a hood and an open shirt.
Now all I'm imagining is Robert California line. Have you seen the video that's... So, you've seen The Office, right?
Yeah.
You know this character, Robert California?
Yeah, kind of.
So he talks about like sex and he's super intimidating and he just commands a room. He actually talked the CEO out of her own job.
Right.
Makes it because he's just that. He's so ridiculous. Somebody took Ultron and made him say James Spader's lines from The Office. So he's like, everything is sex. Anything else is selling yourself short. And there's all these ridiculous sex animal 1%er lines coming out of Ultron's body and responding to the Avengers. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite things.
Oh, man.
You should look it up right now. It's spectacular.
I'll have to figure out how to find... Did I tell you why I didn't watch Second Lines?
Nah, just that you didn't want to watch Haley Joel Osment?
Well, yeah, it's that, and also thinking about lions, and I kind of movies with like an animal in it. It really turns me off. Like Marley and Me, like Old Yeller, and it's just movies with animals. They're not people. They're just kind of there, and people are acting around them. Even like what was that Lost movie with the cat and the dog
Homeward Bound?
Yeah.
One of the best movies ever.
Because we were children?
Still amazing.
Okay.
Probably not. We should add that to the list under my shameful movie.
We've both seen it. We don't have to.
You just don't want to watch it.
This is true. I don't. I mean, Secondhand Lions is as much of a... Like, there's also this one where, like, a family moves into a zoo or something.
We bought a zoo?
We bought a zoo. Yeah. That didn't strike my fancy at all.
You're weird. Animals are awesome.
I don't know. I just don't want to see a movie about animals because it always comes down to like, oh, we're trying to keep the animals, or they need to be in the wild, or they need to be here, or they can't survive in the wild, or Free Willy. Did Free Willy ruin animal movies for me? Is that it?
Could have ruined animal movies. Free Willy sucks.
Oh, that might be it. Free Willy.
The only reason Free Willy was popular was because of the Michael Jackson song.
Ah. I loved Free Willy when I was a kid so much.
And now it sucks. And now you're bitter.
And now I hate all animal movies.
That's sad because there's some good animal movies out there.
I disagree.
I was raised on the good Don Bluth movies, so that's what I associate with it.
I watched that shit.
Yeah.
Those are not animal movies. Those are characters. Fievel is a character. An immigrant. It's not a movie about a mouse. It's a movie about immigrants. And their hot sisters. What?
Please don't. Oh, you nasty.
Somewhere out there beneath the
moonlight, someone's thinking of me. I didn't watch that movie too much. Shut up.
That's what kids do. They watch one movie forever.
I actually have to go now.
Bethany's
work and I got to do stuff. So
we did the one cool thing to end it, and
make an arcade machine. That's my one cool thing.
Is it gonna be like an old arcade? Is it gonna be a bunch of games? Is it gonna be a console? Is it a computer?
Yeah, it's gonna be a bunch of old games and emulators and stuff, and I'm going to make it on a Raspberry Pi.
Nice. All right.
All right. Signing off, Ray.
See you, tRay.